Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Comedy over the next 2+ hours here. We're going to have an episode of My Favorite Husband starring Lucille Ball, Abbott and Costello, Danny Kaye, Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life, Fibber McGee and Molly, and Lum and Abner. That's all up next here on this, what day is this? This is Saturday, isn't it? 27th day of January. This is 339 days away until we get to 2025. University of Georgia, founded on this date in 1785, the first public university in the U.S. Congress approved Indian Territory in what is present-day Oklahoma in 1825, clearing the way for the forced relocation of the Eastern Indians on the Trail of Tears. 1870, the first women's fraternity, Kappa Alpha Theta, is formed at DePaul University. In Washington on this date in 1888, the National Geographic Society founded. In 1939, the first flight of the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. In 1951, nuclear testing at the Nevada test site began with a 1-kiloton bomb dropped on the Frenchman Flats. In 1967, Apollo 1 astronauts Gus Grissom, Edward White, Roger Chaffee killed in a fire during a test of their spacecraft at the Kennedy Space Center.
This is Mort Krim, ABC New York, with a special report from ABC Radio News. This day, Friday the 27th of January, 1967, will go down in history as the day America lost its first astronauts during a space operation. And many will consider it an irony that America's first space fatalities occurred not out in the cold and hostile environment of space, not during liftoff or splashdown, but on the ground at a Cape Kennedy launching pad.
A wonderful radio commentator, Mort Krim, reporting on the death of Gus Grissom, Edward White, Roger Chaffee at the Kennedy Space Center on this date in 1967. Also on this date in 1967, more than 60 nations signed the Outer Space Treaty banning nuclear weapons in space. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords officially ended the Vietnam War.
I'm sure that all Americans are very happy that this long, difficult, and agonizing war has finally ended. And tonight we pay tribute to the millions of Americans and Vietnamese men and women who fought in that war.
Colonel William Nolde became the conflict's last recorded American combat casualty. In 1984, Michael Jackson suffered second-degree burns to his scalp while filming a Pepsi commercial. In 1988, Phantom of the Opera opened on Broadway.
Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold and feeling light. And listen to the music of the night.
One of the longest-running Broadway musicals in history with over 10,000 performances, and it even had a residency in Las Vegas with a showroom that was specially constructed for it. Some amazing effects that you couldn't see anywhere else. Phantom of the Opera opening on this date in 1988. 1998, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton appeared on NBC's Today Show saying allegations against her husband the work of a vast right-wing conspiracy. I don't think any Republicans were forcing Mr. Clinton to have sex with that woman. In 2010, Apple CEO Steve Jobs unveiled the iPad tablet computer during a presentation in San Francisco. Among those passing away on this date in history, European explorer Sir Francis Drake, naturalist ornithologist John James Audubon, composer Giuseppe Verdi, English inventor. Can you guess what Thomas Crapper invented? Thomas Crapper was his name, and yes, he did invent that. Journalist and writer Nellie Bly, also singer Mahalia Jackson, pro wrestler Andre the Giant, gentleman till you messed with him. Claude Aiken from BJ and the Bear, also TV show host Jack Parr, actor Teague Andrews, soldier, author J.D. Salinger, comedian Charlie Callis, rubber-faced man and funny as could be. Pete Seeger, also born on this date. From the cartoonists responsible for Beetle Bailey and High and Lois, Mort Walker, and Cloris Leachman, all passing away on this date in history. Among those whose birthdays we celebrate today, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, born on this date in history, as was author Lewis Carroll, composer Jerome Kern, the wonderful Howard McNear, Doc Adams on radio's Gunsmoke, and Floyd the Barber on TV's Andy Griffith Show, and a delightful man, Howard McNear, born on this date. Also band leader Skitch Henderson, the Chipmunks creator Ross Bagdasarian, also actress Donna Reed, singer Bobby Bluebland, and Troy Donahue, all people who have left this mortal coil who were born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov, 76 years old today. Henry Fonda's daughter, Bridget Fonda, 60 years old today. Nightcrawler in X-Men X2, Alan Cumming is 59. From King of Queens and Ratatouille, Patton Oswalt is 55. And British model Lily Donaldson, 37. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 27th day of January as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
And we'll get started on this Saturday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of, what is it? It's My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball and Richard Denning. The, I guess you'd have to call it at least the godfather of I Love Lucy. This episode from 74 years ago, January 27th, 1950, is up next here on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Howard Duff with this reminder. 640 and 1240. These are the Conelrad frequencies during a national emergency. 640 and 1240 on your regular radio will be your only official means of receiving vital information. Remember, 640 and 1240.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now with an episode of My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball and Richard Denning, 74 years ago, January 27th, 1950. Liz writes a hit song.
It's time for My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball.
Jello, everybody.
Yes, it's the new Gay Family series, starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning. Brought to you by the Jello family of desserts.
J-E-L-L. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jello family. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jello family. That's Jello.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jello puddings.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jello tapioca puddings, yes, sirree.
And now Lucille Ball with Richard Denning as Liz and George Cooper. Two people who live together and like it. As we look in on the Coopers, it's evening, and Liz and George are entertaining George's boss, Mr. Atterbury, and his wife. Dinner is over, and the group is in the living room having coffee.
Ah, nice dinner, Liz, girl.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Atterbury. Well, what do we do tonight?
Maybe there's something good on the radio. Radio?
Yeah, you know, that little box you used to listen to before you got your television set.
Oh, do they still have those?
Don't pay any attention to him. What's on right now?
I think maybe there's a quiz show on.
Oh, yes, I remember now. You don't have television, eh?
Well, if it'll make you happy, Mr. Atterbury, you and George go outside and look in through the window, and Iris and I will wrestle.
Touché. We'll try the radio.
Salagadoola, manchikaboola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo.
What a powerful set. You've got China.
No, that's a popular song.
Salagadoola, manchikaboola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. It'll do magic, believe it or not. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo.
Oh, gad! That's a popular song.
Sure.
Well, what does it mean?
I don't know. I think it's Marisy Dote sung sideways.
Salagadoola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi.
Turn that thing off.
Bibbidi-bobbidi.
George, she's left with her bibbidi-bobbidi hanging. You cut off her boo.
Oh, sorry.
Boo.
What kind of a song is that? Bibbidi-bibbidi-boo.
Yeah, it is kind of silly, isn't it?
What's happened to the songwriters nowadays? When I was a young man, they had songs with words that meant something.
Yeah. Rudolph, sing Bo-Do-Dio-Do for them.
Or that other great song so full of meaning, Dig-a-dig-a-doo.
Well, never mind. We had a lot of great songs in those days.
Yeah, the old songs are the best songs.
Yes, sir. They don't write them like they used to. I'll never forget some of those wonderful tunes.
Well, tell us all about it, Grandpappy. What did they used to sing in the Revolutionary War?
Rudolph couldn't hear the melody. He was playing the drum.
All right, you two can make fun if you want it. But I'll never forget when Francis dances with me.
Francis who?
It's a song, Lotus Bud.
Oh.
It was only second in popularity to The Sheik of Araby. Your love belongs to me.
Why, Mr. Atterbury, you're a crooner.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I used to be pretty good. In the old days, you'd always find me in the center of the largest group, playing the piano and leading the singing.
I used to love it singing at parties, too. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now.
Hey, I think we've just stumbled on what we'll do tonight. We'll gather around the piano and sing.
Splendid.
Hey, that'll be fun. Hey, that's a great idea.
Come on over to the piano, Mr. Atterbury. You play and we'll sing.
All right.
What'll it be?
Well, how about starting out with an easy one? When you wore a tulip.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's go.
When
you wore a tulip, a bright yellow tulip, and I wore a big red rose. When you caressed me, it was then heaven blessed me. What a blessing no one knows.
Just a minute.
What's the matter?
One of our songbirds has gravel in his beak.
What do you mean, Rudolph?
I detected several very sour notes.
So did I.
Well, so did I. Who was it?
I'm not sure. Let's try it again and see.
Okay.
When you wore a tulip, a bright yellow tulip, and I wore a big red rose.
Hold it. We aren't going on until we find who's singing off key.
Well, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
Neither am I.
Well, needless to say, I'm not doing it.
Well, how can we find out who is?
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll hit a note on the piano. We'll all sing it one at a time. Like this. Oh, la, 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 la. Now, Iris. George. Liz. At these mountains, we found our man.
Wait a minute. Are you insinuating that I'm the one?
Well, Liz, we sang the same note and you sang a different one. That proves something.
Sure, you're all off key. Look, Liz, we don't mean to hurt your feelings, but you do sing flat. I do not.
Oh, now, it's nothing to get upset about. Some sing, some don't.
Well, if you don't think I have a good voice, come over and sing with me when I'm taking a shower.
Shall I bring my own towel?
Rudolph.
Well, it was her idea.
Come on, let's sing something else.
Yeah. How about button up your overcoat?
Fine.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's go now.
Liz.
What?
I don't know how to say this exactly, but this quartet has just become a trio.
I don't get to button up my overcoat?
No, honey. You get to button up your lip.
Well, I think you're all being mean.
I'm sorry, Liz, but there's no place for sentiment in group singing. A sour note is a sour note, even if it's your best friend.
But who'll sing my part?
Oh, we'll manage somehow. We just won't oil the piano stool.
All right for you.
Yeah. Now, all together. Button up your overcoat when the wind blows free.
Take good care of yourself.
You belong to me.
Oh, nobody wants me. I'm going out in the garden and sing with the worms.
Good morning, Liz.
Well, if it isn't Al Jolson.
Now, Liz.
What time did Bing and Dinah go home?
Well, if you're referring to Mr. Atterbury and Iris, they left about 1 o'clock. You know, and I certainly thought it was rude of you to go to bed while they were still here.
Well, I don't care. I got a little sick after you buttoned up that crummy overcoat for the 3rd time.
Oh, what a sore head.
Well, how would you like it if your husband and your best friends told you to shut up?
Well, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
It's so frustrating. There I was with all that music bottled up inside of me, and you wouldn't let me pull the cork.
Oh, gee, Liz, I'm sorry,
Well, never mind the apologies. It might not be too long before you'll beg me to join your tired little trio.
What?
Professor Krausmeyer's coming over this morning to give me singing lessons.
Oh, no.
You just wait. I'll be able to out-sing you with one tonsil tied behind my back.
Well, that's a pretty picture. Well, I have to go to work now, dear. See you in Carnegie Hall.
Well, I might not make that, but don't be surprised if I'm singing on the radio before long.
Oh, Liz, television hasn't heard it that much.
You'll see. I know I have talent.
I'll make a deal with you, Liz. The day you sing on the radio, I'll roll an egg down Main Street with my nose.
I'm going to hold you to that, George Cooper. So just remember it.
What are you whispering about?
I just thought if I'm going to be a singer, I have to save my voice.
Oh, I get it.
Mrs. Cooper, what are you doing? I'm spraying my throat, Katie. All us singers do this.
Oh? What's in the atomizer?
Nothing. I don't know what I'm supposed to use yet.
Oh, Mrs. Cooper.
Oh, that must be Professor Krausmeyer.
Oh, I'll let him in. Hello, Professor.
Guten Morgen. Well, the house will be filled with music again. 9?
9.
Hello, Professor Krausmeyer.
Ach, how is my pooper?
Now, your poople is pooped. You know, I'm tired of being made fun of, Professor. Are you sure you can teach me to sing?
Oh, certainly. I have my own theory that if you can talk, you can sing. Hit middle C. Well, there goes another theory.
Well, let's not get discouraged so soon.
Ach, you are so right. Maybe the piano needs tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try that again.
There.
That's amazing. It isn't C, it isn't D. It also isn't E, F, G, A, or B. Congratulations, Mrs. Cooper. You are the first human ever to sing X.
Pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah, sure. Now, to show you what little sense I got, we go on with the lesson. Now, listen. Now, do you think you can do that?
Sure.
With your mouth, not your fingers. Sing it.
Oh. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
No, please. It's supposed to be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Well, that's just how I sang it.
Mrs. Cooper, it ain't what you did, it's the way what you do it. The tones are supposed to be bear-shaped.
Bear-shaped?
Yeah, bear, mit a P. No, like this. How now, brown cow?
Oh, the large end of the bear comes out first. Well, let me try it. How now, brown cow?
Mrs. Cooper, did you hurt yourself?
No, Kitty, I'm all right.
Well, I thought a murder was going on.
Mrs. Cooper, just sing something for me. Your favorite song, please.
Well, I guess it's Stardust. I love that song. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once
Enough.
What's the matter?
You love that song?
Yes.
I wouldn't want to hear you sing one you hate.
You mean you don't think I have talent?
Oh, no, please. Sit down, Mrs. Cooper. Now, look. The world of music is divided into two separate groups. The performers and the listeners.
Professor, what are you trying to tell me?
Mrs. Cooper, I think if you take lots of lessons and study very hard, in time, you might become a listener.
Well, it's a shame poor Liz can't sing a little better, because I'd love to hear her try our Jell-O family song. Bet she'd come out real strong on Jell-O pudding, yum, yum, yum. And those three Jell-O puddings are worth singing a tune about. Jell-O chocolate pudding, rich and dark and candy good. Jell-O butterscotch pudding with that buttery brown sugar taste. And mellow Jell-O vanilla pudding, smooth as cream and tempting. Have them plain or dress them up fancy with chopped nuts and whipped cream, or a chocolate sauce, or topped with any favorite fruit like sliced bananas or oranges. All three Jell-O puddings are quick as a wink to fix, because all you do is add milk and they take about 5 minutes to cook. They're grand for the kids because they're nourishing, and everybody loves them. Stock up on all three flavors for the weekend. Jell-O chocolate, butterscotch, and vanilla pudding. That name Jell-O is a registered trademark of General Foods.
J-E-L-L-O.
And now back to Lucille Ball in My Favorite Husband. Well, Professor Krausmeyer has broken the bad news to Liz that she will never be a nightingale, and she's still suffering from the shock.
What
What's the matter, Mrs. Cooper?
Oh, Katie, I'm a musical flop.
Now, you aren't either.
I am, too. Professor Krausmeyer won't even teach me. He says I'm a listener.
Well, you should do what my sister does. She writes songs and lets someone else sing them.
Oh, you have to know all about music to write songs.
My sister doesn't know a thing. And maybe you heard that hit song she wrote. Think of your friends as bananas and count me as one of the bunch.
No, I don't think I ever heard that.
Well, maybe you heard, I call my little boy Tripod since he's grown another foot.
Those are hit songs.
No, but they will be when she wins the songwriting contest she entered. It's on the local radio station.
You mean a songwriting contest anyone can get into? Like your sister or you or me?
Sure, they have it every week.
Say, this sounds like just what I'm looking for. Nobody can say I'm not musical if I'm writing hit songs.
I should say they can.
I'll try it. Get me the rhyming dictionary, Katie. Carrie Jacobs Cooper writes again.
Mrs. Cooper, you've had your nose buried in that rhyming dictionary for 2 hours. Are you still working on that song?
Yeah, I need a good rhyme. Lime, time, sublime, crime, chime.
What?
I've been looking at this so long I've got rhymes on my brain. Chain, pain, complain, electric train.
My goodness, Mrs.
Brain.
Cooper, stop!
I'm trying, frying, brying, drying, buying,
Close the
sighing.
book!
Yeah, that's it. I'll close the book. Cook, nook, look, hook, schnook. Oh. Oh, well, I think I'm all right now.
How's the song coming?
Well, I've sort of got a tune, but the words won't come. Well, there's the door. I'll get it, Katie.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Cooper.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wood. What can I do for you?
Oh, Katie told me that you entered a songwriting contest. I thought I might help you. You know, I used to write lots of songs for our college glee club. Of course, I don't have the time anymore.
Well, Mr. Wood, we'd make a perfect songwriting team. You have talent and no time, and I have time and no talent.
Well, what are we waiting for? Put her there, partner. A new team is born. Wood and Cooper.
Wood. Wood and Cooper.
That's better. Well, now, let me see. Where will we begin, huh?
Well, I got sort of a tune started, but I don't think it's any good.
No, play it. Go ahead. Maybe we'll get an idea from it.
All right. Let's see now. It goes like this.
Just a minute, Mrs. Cooper.
No good, huh?
Oh, no, I like it. Yes. And I think some words that will fit to it just came to me.
What are they?
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
My country. Oh, I wish I was dead.
Don't feel bad. All songwriters do that at first.
They do?
Oh, yes, I remember the first song that I wrote. After I wrote it, they told me I stole it from Tchaikovsky. But I didn't.
Well, that's good.
No, I stole it from Freddie Martin. He stole it from Tchaikovsky.
Well, we better write one we don't steal from anyone.
What's the matter? You crazy? We want a song to be a success, don't we? Now, we'll examine the hit songs of the past and take the best parts of each.
Good idea. We better make it about a girl. Look at Margie, Dinah, Laura, Sweet Sue.
And on the other hand, there should be a city in it, too. Look at Chicago, Chattanooga Choo-Choo. Meet me at Old St. Louis.
Right, and it has to be Western.
Western?
Sure, Ghost Riders in the Sky, Mule Train.
Right.
Oh, this is easy. The song's practically all written. All we need is a girl who was born in a city and falls in love with a ghost rider who beats her with a whip. Let's get started.
Please sit down, Mrs. Cooper. You've been pacing up and down all afternoon.
Oh, I can't help it, Katie. This is the day they decide on the winning song. Mr. Wood went down to see if he could find out anything ahead of time.
Won't it be wonderful if you win?
Oh, I'm afraid to think about it.
Oh, I'll get it.
Get away from that phone.
Well.
Sorry, Katie. Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Cooper. Our prize won first song.
What? Mr. Wood?
Yes, we won. We won.
Oh, really?
I just talked to the head judge, and he said, in his 35 years as a musician, he's never heard a song like ours.
Oh, this is wonderful.
We're going to sing it on the radio tonight.
We?
Well, the rules say we both have to appear.
Look, you sing the song, and I'll just stand there and look pretty.
Well, okay, Mrs. Cooper. Be at the radio station at 7 o'clock tonight.
Oh, don't worry. I'll meet you there, and I'll bring George and the goodbyes. Atterbury! Goodbye. Atterbury's goodbye.
Hello, Mrs. Cooper.
Oh, hi, Mr. Wood. Everything's all set. George and the Atterburys are sitting in the audience. Is the program on the air already?
No, not yet.
Well, then why are you whispering?
I'm not. I've got laryngitis.
Mr. Wood, if you've got laryngitis, who's going to sing our song?
Here's the music.
Oh, no. No, I can't do it.
No, you'll have to or we won't win the prize.
Oh, how can you do this to me?
Now, don't worry. I'm going to help you.
How?
You'll sing, and I'll sit there and look pretty.
But I can't sing. I'm a natural-born listener.
Come on, they're ready for us. You've got to go through with it.
Oh.
And here they come now, the winners of this week's Write a Song contest, Mrs. George Cooper and Mr. Benjamin Wood.
Get me, George! I'm a songwriter!
Liz!
Hooray for Liz!
Is there any secret you can give to prospective songwriters, Mrs. Cooper?
Well, yes. We found that all you need to include is a girl's name, a city's name, a western feeling, love, and some double talk.
Well, that's right from the horse's mouth, folks. Figuratively speaking, of course. Now, I know you're all anxious to hear the song that won the contest, so let's get right to Mr. Wood, who will sing and play the original composition.
Mr. Wood has laryngitis, so there's been a substitution. I'm going to sing the song.
Oh, Gad! All right, Miss Cooper, go ahead.
I've got a girl, her first name is Pearl. She comes from Pittsburgh, PA.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Cooper, wait. Can't you sing louder than that?
Sing louder, I'm shouting.
Please, Mrs. Cooper, try to give us more volume.
You'll be sorry!
You keep out of this, George.
Oh, but Liz, you're laying an egg.
Well, I may be laying it, George Cooper, but you're going to roll it down Main Street with your nose.
Oh, I forgot!
Quiet, please! Now, Mrs. Cooper, we have to hear your song so you can collect your prize. Here, maybe I can sing it with you.
Oh, would you? Do you think you'll know the tune?
Well, it's tricky, but maybe it'll come to me.
Okay. Once again, Mr. Wood.
Oh, I've got a girl. Her first name is Pearl. She comes from Pittsburgh, PA. She looks like a witch, but her old man is rich, and her last name is Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Hiya! Hiya!
Well, yippee-ki-yay. Whose little doggy are you? Do you hear this refrain as you drive the mule train?
Hiya! Hiya!
Oh,
bibbidi-bobbidi-boo.
Yes, Lucille. What's the story tonight?
Oh, it's exciting tonight, Bob. All about Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard?
Right, man. A wee bit of Scottish music, McRuba.
Here is the scene of the crime, Inspector. Shall we go in?
'Tis a braw brick, moonlick, nick to nick.
It's a Scotch clothing store. Shall we go in?
'Tis a braw brick, moonlick, nick to nick.
Aye, but shall we go in?
Nick. I wouldn't go into a Scotch clothing store.
And why not?
A man could get killed in there. Tis a wee little pun. Kilt.
Aye. A wee little one.
No ad-libbing, laddie. You've heard of Jell-O?
Aye.
Yes, you. Well, you better start putting it in.
Aye. Here are the clues, Inspector.
What comes first? We Scotch roll our R's.
First is Jell-O chocolate pudding, delicious with deep-down chocolatey goodness.
Aye, and what comes third?
Jell-O vanilla pudding, rich and smooth as cream. You want to know what came second?
Sure.
Jell-O butterscotch pudding with that buttery brown sugar flavor.
Butterscotch. Aye, butterscotch.
Aye. All you do is add milk, and Jell-O puddings only take about 5 minutes to cook to velvety, rich perfection.
Cook?
They're nourishing, too. A swell dessert for the kids.
Sure, and bejabbers and begorra, 'tis the truth you're spaking.
Hey, that's Irish.
Shh. I'm after disguising my voice when I spake of such a terrible crime.
What's the crime?
'Tis a crime to buy anything but Jell-O puddings for dessert. Good Nick McBob. George, wake up.
What's the matter?
You're snoring.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Oh. I'll roll him over on his side. There. Oh, I forgot. That's his peanut vendor side. Well, let's try the other side. There. Oh, fine. Now I've tuned in Pigpen Polka. Oh, I can't stand this. How can I muffle that man? I know. A pillow over his face. Ah, peace and quiet. Gee, it's quiet. It's too quiet. George, speak to me. Oh, what have I done? Say something. George, make a noise. Snore. Oh, what a beautiful sound. I won't say good night because he's asleep.
Good night, Liz.
Oh, you.
You have been listening to My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning, and based on characters created by Isabel Scott Rory. Tonight's program was produced and directed by Jess Oppenheimer, who wrote the script with Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. Original music was composed by Marlon Skiles and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The part of Katie the Maid was played by Ruth Parrott. Watch for Lucille Ball in the Columbia picture, Miss Grant Takes Richmond. And be sure to listen to Lucille Ball in My Favorite Husband again next week, presented by
J-E-L-L. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. That's Jell-O.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jell-O puddings. Yum, yum, yum. Jell-O tapioca puddings, yes, sirree.
This is Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
74 years ago, January 24th, 1950, My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball and Richard Denning. Up next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we'll go back 75 years to January 27th, 1945, and another episode of the Bud Abbott and Lou Costello Show with another Sam Shovel mystery.
In case of national civil defense emergency, the emergency broadcast system may be activated. Then you would receive essential information by turning your radio dial to an EBS station operating in your area. The emergency broadcast system stations will be easy to identify because of their repeated announcements of the area they're serving.
By the way, you can find all this great civil defense information you're hearing about by going to a website, civildefensemuseum.com. That's civildefensemuseum.com. A lot of the documents, and you'll hear them talking about, you can download them there for absolute free without having to deal with the Postal Service. Now on this Saturday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Bud Abbott, and Lou Costello, another Sam Shovel mystery. Of course, you can tell them their takeoffs on Sam Spade, of course. This episode from 75 years ago, January 21st, 1949.
Hey, Abbott, what time is it? It's time for the Abbott and Costello Show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show. Yes, it's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood for your listening and laughing pleasure with chuckles for the carload and music by Matty Malvin. So hold on to your chairs, folks. Here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. All right, what's all the excitement about? What happened, Lou? Well, Uncle Mike discovered gold on his ranch. Well, good for Uncle Mike. Yeah, he's sending to Europe for some Englishmen with shovels. He's sending for Englishmen with shovels. What for? He figures England will want to borrow the gold sooner or later, and they might just as well come over here and help dig it up. Oh, let's face it, Costello. Your Uncle Mike is a moron. Oh, no, he's not. No? He's going to be a great scientist someday. Right now, he's working on a new insecticide. He is? Yes. Last week, he got out his notebooks and locked himself in his laboratory with 10,000 mosquitoes. He released the mosquitoes and was going to write down the mosquitoes' behavior. And what did he write? Nothing. He was so busy scratching, he didn't have time to write. Just as I thought. He's as big a nincompoop as you. No, he's not. Right now, he's crossing a rubber plant with a banana. And what does he expect to get? A girdle you can slide into. You know, your whole family are jerks. Look, by the way, what was that silly-looking thing on the radiator of your car this afternoon? Well, you see, I can't afford a radiator cap, so I trained my little dog to sit on the radiator. Your dog sits on the radiator? Mm-hmm. Does he bark much? Only when it boils over. Well, I gotta leave you now, Abbott. I got a job as a babysitter. You a babysitter? Yep. Babysitters are girls. Well, what's wrong with the man? My Uncle Jim Kelly was a sitter. He isn't around anymore, though. He isn't? What happened? While he was sitting, the warden pulled the switch. Oh, get him out. And there'll be much more of that terrific Abbott and Costello humor in a few seconds. Take it easy. What are you so excited about? Calm down. What's the matter? I'm worried, Abbott. What do you mean? My Aunt May is in terrible shape. Well, what's the matter with her? She's got hallucinations. She thinks she's a taxicab.
She thinks she's a taxicab.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Uncle Mike call a doctor?
Why should he? She gets him to work faster than the Sunset Bus.
How long has Uncle Mike and Aunt May been married, Lou?
Well, it's just 20 years since they went on a honeymoon. Aunt May went to Niagara Falls, and Uncle Mike went to Miami.
Wait a minute. You mean they weren't together on their honeymoon?
No, Uncle Mike said that a honeymoon is the happiest time of your life, and why let marriage spoil it?
Well, it's wonderful to think that your Aunt May and your Uncle Mike have been married for 20 years.
Yeah. But really, Abbott, what's wonderful about it? Uncle Mike thought she loved him, but for the whole 20 years she hated him. Hated him like poison. And now they have 17 children.
Wait a minute. If she hated him, why did they have 17 children?
Well, it was her idea. She was just trying to lose him in the crowd.
Is that mean to him, Lou?
Well, she beats him up all the time. He wouldn't mind it if it wasn't for the children.
The children?
Yeah, they beat him, too.
He must be really henpecked.
Yes, he is. She tries to keep him in the house every night. Saturday, when he started to take his bath, she put 6 boxes of Jell-O in the tub so he'd get stuck. Luckily, it was raspberry, and he ate his way out.
Well, they don't have a very happy home life, do they, Lou?
No. Saturday night, Uncle Mike played pinochle all afternoon, and when he came home at 6 o'clock, there was no dinner on the table.
Well, where was your Aunt May?
Down at the bowling alley. She's down there 7 days a week.
Well, that's a shame.
Yep, Uncle Mike should have never got her that job setting pins.
Well, look, wasn't your Uncle Mike married once before?
Yeah, but his first wife passed away.
Well, now that's too bad.
Uncle Mike had such a tough time collecting the insurance that sometimes he almost wishes she hasn't died.
What did your Uncle Mike do before he got married, Lou?
Well, he was quite a Romeo, Abbott. For 2 years, he carried a torch for a girl in Pennsylvania.
He carried a torch for a girl in Pennsylvania?
She was a coal miner, and it gets pretty dark in those tunnels.
Didn't he ever work for a living?
Sure, he had a job in a canned soup factory. He was in the chicken soup division. He was a dragger.
Now, wait a minute. What are the duties of a dragger in a canned soup factory?
Very simple. When a 1,000-gallon tank of hot water was ready, he'd drag a chicken through it.
Well, it's no wonder your Aunt May fights with Uncle Mike.
Yeah. You should have seen Aunt May Sunday night, Abbott. She was so mad at Mike that she said she was going to pack her suitcases and leave him forever. Now he's really worried.
He is?
Yep. She ain't even started to pack her suitcases yet.
What a couple they are. Mike isn't a bad-looking guy, but I can't see what he ever saw in your Aunt May.
She was very popular in Patterson when she was a young girl.
She was?
Yes, the Patterson Electric and Power Company voted her Miss Alternating Current of 1915.
Costello, that's about the year you were born back in Patterson, isn't it?
Yes. I'm Patterson's favorite son.
What do you mean?
Just last week, the people of Patterson erected a statue in the very spot where I was born.
The spot where you were born? Where was that?
Right in the middle of the Greyhound bus depot.
You were born right in the middle of the Greyhound bus depot?
It was raining and my mother couldn't get a taxi.
Costello, you talk like an nincompoop. Tell me, does your whole family suffer from stupidity?
Indeed not. They enjoy every minute of it.
Hey there, Costello. I want to talk to you.
Mister, do I owe you any money?
No.
Mm-hmm. Did I ever give you a tip on any of my horses?
No.
Have you got a red-headed sister in Chicago?
No.
Okay, go ahead and talk to me.
Do you give away prizes on this program? Can I win a refrigerator or something?
Nope.
Well, goodbye. I've got to go hurry over to the Gangbusters radio show. Last week, I got $164 on that program.
Wait a minute. Gangbusters don't give away anything.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm a pickpocket, too.
Now I know where I saw that guy, Abbott. It was the 30th anniversary party, yours. Remember you had a swimming pool filled up with bourbon?
Yeah, the whole swimming pool was filled with bourbon. What fun.
Yes, I never saw so many people going down for the third time with smiles on their faces.
Well, never mind that. The whole town is talking about my anniversary party. Didn't my wife Betty look beautiful? I'm very proud of my wife. Every man in town was fighting over her, but I got her.
Abbott, you didn't fight hard enough.
My wife is a beautiful woman. She hasn't got a wrinkle in her face.
She hasn't, huh? Then what are those things? Dents?
Costello, you know nothing about women. I don't even know why I even discussed the subject of women with you.
Well, it's not my fault, Abbott. I led a very sheltered life. Then I met a lovely little redhead, and I learned about women from her.
You did?
I'll never forget our first date. We sat on the riverbank in the moonlight. She moved closer to me, then I moved closer to her. Then the moon went behind a cloud. Then it happened. Why, she let me tighten the string on her ukulele.
Didn't she kiss you, Lou?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Oh, boy.
How did it make you feel?
How did it make me feel?
Yeah.
Did you ever stand on a hot buttered waffle and have somebody pour maple syrup down your spine?
How did you get along with her, Lou?
Oh, good. The second time we had a date, I took her sightseeing on a bus.
Rubberneck?
No, but I tickled her a little.
Hello, boys.
Hey, look, Costello, it's our secretary, Viola Vaughn.
Well, Viola Vaughn.
That's my line, Lou.
Take it.
Well, Viola Vaughn. I understand you bought a new car. How do you like driving in California?
Well, it would be. That's yours.
It would be all right if it weren't for the pedestrians.
What's wrong with the California pedestrians?
Well, I was driving down here tonight, and one of them whizzed right past my windshield. The dirty coward was pole vaulting across the street.
Sneaky devils, ain't they? Viola, why don't you take me for a ride down the beach tonight?
I should say not.
Ah, Costello, Viola's only kidding. She really likes you, but you've got to do something to show that you like her.
That's right, Costello. Do something brave.
Do something brave?
Uh-huh.
I know what I'll do. I'll join the army and help fight the British.
But we're not fighting the British.
That's all the better. That way nobody can get hurt.
Costello, you know, you've been acting kind of queer lately.
Hey, wait a minute. Come to think of it, you're right, Viola. Yesterday afternoon, I saw him sitting up in a tree in Griffith Park.
Costello, what were you doing up in that tree?
Signing autographs?
Signing autographs?
Yes, the robins thought I was Woody Woodpecker.
Costello, here's another thing. Why do you always carry an umbrella on your arm? Why don't you get a girl on your arm? You know, a girl is much nicer than an umbrella.
Oh, I don't know, kiddo. When you're through with a girl, can you fold her up and hang her in a closet?
Why, you simple-minded, no-good, low-down...
No, just a minute, Mr. Abbott. Have you ever stopped to consider that Costello's reasoning capacity and his functional capabilities for logical delineation are coordinated, comprehensive, and negligible? Is it compulsory to you to abuse this poor, moronic, social incompetent simply because the poor slob doesn't possess the mental capacity of an imbecile?
But Viola...
Just a minute, Abbott. You've had this coming to you for a long time. Let her finish. Continue. Tell them what a slob I am.
Viola, Viola, I can't help it if Costello is stupid.
Who's stupid? I want to tell you something, Abbott. I'm always studying, always reading. I just finished a book called When Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman in Dracula's Garden, where the Spider-Woman killed the cat girl.
What's the story about?
Two bums living in the La Brea tar pits.
Well, I've got to go now, boys. I'm taking my painting lessons.
Do you paint?
Oh, yes. I draw birds with charcoal. I paint flowers in watercolor.
What do you do in oil?
Fry potatoes. Go on, Costello.
You know, Abbott, there's a girl going places.
She is?
Yes, sir. If she hurries, she can be the first one in line to collect her unemployment insurance.
I'll get him out.
Now, while we get the 50-second intermission, we'd like you to consider this. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, that singing star of the Abbott and Costello Show, Hal Winters.
I'd like to sing a song that belongs to the month of January as much as White Christmas belongs to December. With Matty Malik's orchestra, here is the Ralph Ranger, Leo Robin perennial, June and January. It's June in January because I'm in love. It always is spring in my heart with you in my arms. The snow is just white blossoms that fall from above. And here is the reason, my dear, your magical charm. The night is cold, the trees are bare, but I can feel the scent of roses in the air. It's June in January because I'm in love, but only because I'm in love with you. The night is cold, the trees are bare, but I can feel the scent of roses in the air. It's June in January because I'm in love, but only because I'm in love with you.
Hey, Abbott. I just made an important discovery. I think I can safely announce that Governor Dewey will run for president in 1952.
Oh, what makes you think that?
He just started taking piano lessons.
You know, Costello, ever since you started playing the part of Sam Shovel, private detective, you've got your nose in everybody's business. You've been as busy as an ant.
Ants are busy?
Certainly.
Then why are they always going to picnics?
When you talk sense, what is that letter you have in your hand?
Well, Abbott, it's another fan letter. Listen to this. Dear Lou Costello, a Sam Shovelly detective, you are the greatest thing on radio. I love your show. But my wife won't listen to it. She says she needs you like she needs a hole in the head. I'm sending her to see you tonight.
Mr. Costello, there's a lady to see you.
What does she look like?
She's a short, fat woman with a hole in her head.
Oh, never mind. What is your Sam Shovel detective story for tonight, Lou?
I think I'll do one of my old Western cases. I call it the case of the general who opened up a drive-in and was caught selling horse meat, or Custer's last hamburger stand.
Well, you're talking. Let's do it.
I'm Sam Shovel, private detective. I remember my first case. Three-eyed Maxie the murderer. He had three eyes. He was the only man in the world with 20-20-20 vision. And there was my second case. Terrible Tony, the toughest gangster in Los Angeles. He was a bronze giant with muscles of steel and an iron fist. I had to shoot him. May he rust in peace. 15 years in the detective business takes a lot out of you. But I feel as strong and vigorous as the day I started. Right now I could tear Superman in half.
But I don't want to ruin the rest of the paper. I feel kind of thirsty. I go to the sink. This Los Angeles water is getting hotter every day. I glance out of my window. There's the headquarters of the Republican Club. On the window there's a sign, GOP. I just found out what GOP means. Gone out permanently. I look down at my desk. There's my new wristwatch. My new wristwatch. It's a shock-proof, non-magnetic, waterproof watch. The directions say don't take this watch out of the box. Fresh air ruins it. I think I'll give it to my secretary. What a secretary. She got the job the hard way. The hard way. She knew how to type. Lying next to my watch is my shotgun. I decide to see if it's loaded. I pointed at the floor and pulled the trigger. I looked down at the floor. When did I buy open-toed shoes? I reach in my coat pocket. Here's a wallet I found last night. I hope I can find the owner. I check to see what's in the wallet. Here's a card. If found, return to Mr. Nichols, Delmar Hotel. Here's a driver's license issued to Mr. Nichols, Delmar Hotel. Here's a birth certificate with the name Nichols. Here's the pink slip for a new Hudson sedan issued to Mr. Nichols, Delmar Hotel. Well, here's $600 in cash. Looks like I'll have to keep the money. Serves that guy right. He should carry some identification. The name on the money is Washington. Now, let me see. Oh, yes. It's about time for my pal, Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad, to show up. Abbott had a pretty tough week chasing crooks. Monday night, he was held up on Main Street. Tuesday night, he was held up on Broadway. Wednesday night, he was held up on Sunset Boulevard. If Abbott would stay out of those saloons, he wouldn't need anybody to hold him up. Lieutenant Abbott don't have to work. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. This was okay until he found out that all the other kids had tongues. It's not easy to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Up to the time Abbott was 19, all he could say was Rogers Brothers, 1847. Before he became a detective, Abbott was a motorcycle cop. He was the only cop on the force that had traffic eyes. Real traffic eyes. They'd always look both ways before crossing each other. No matter what case Lieutenant Abbott goes out on, he's never stuck. Hello, Sam Shovel, private detective speaking.
Hello, Sam. This is Lieutenant Abbott. Sam, what time do the vaults open in the Fourth National Bank?
At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Not till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
That's right, Lieutenant Abbott. You can't get in those vaults till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Who wants to get in? I'm trying to get out.
Suddenly, my door opened.
Sam Shovel.
It was my pal, Lieutenant Abbott. He was scared to death. He was perspiring. He was sweating bullets. Lieutenant Abbott, how'd you get out of that bank vault?
Sam, I'll tell it to you all in a nutshell.
Can't you tell it to me here? I don't think we'd both fit in a nutshell.
Sam, I've been working on a series of bank burglaries. Monday night, the Kelly gang held up the First National Bank. Tuesday, they held up the Second National Bank. Wednesday, they held up the Third National Bank. So tonight, I was waiting for them at the Fourth National Bank.
And you caught them?
Nah. Tonight, they held up the First National Bank again. But enough about myself. Enough about my trouble, Sam. Sam, you don't look good. What's the matter?
I didn't get any sleep last night, Lieutenant. A burglar climbed into my bedroom window and made me get out of bed. I stood there shivering in my long underwear.
Why didn't you holler for help?
He had a gun, and I was afraid to open my trap. After the burglar left, I still couldn't get any sleep. I was worried about my brother Pat. He kept poking his head into my room.
Well, lots of guys poke their heads into their brothers' rooms.
On the end of a stick?
Sam, did you hear those shots?
They came from the office next door.
Who runs that office next door?
An organization called the American Society of Patriotic Americans for the Preservation of Freedom in the United States of all and for all patriotic Americans.
What do they do?
They're foreign spies.
Sam, look. There's the guy that did the shooting. He's coming in here. He's got a gun.
So this is the place I've been looking for, eh? Where's Sam Shovel, the private detective?
What do you want with him?
I'm going to kill him. I hate radio detectives. I hate them all. The Thin Man, the Fat Man, Ellery Queen. But most of all, I hate Sam Shovel. I'm going to gouge his eyes out. I'll fill him with lead. Now, who are you?
Oh, I'm just an ordinary police.
Eh?
Honest, mister, I'm not a radio detective.
And you? Who are you, fatso?
Well, I'm, I'm the...
Don't stand there, Abbott. Hand me my cookbook. Cookbook? Who are you?
Don't you recognize me? Mary Margaret McBride.
Oh, so you're the one that gives out those recipes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's anything I hate worse than radio detectives, it's those recipe programs. I'll kill them all. I'll kill them like a...
Custer will wind up tonight's hijinks in just a moment, plus after a little advice from this fellow.
Costello, are you sure the folks at home like this Sam Shovel series we're doing?
Oh, certainly, Abbott. Listen to this letter. Dear Lou Costello, other radio detectives get you to listen, expecting something big on their shows. Then in the end, they have nothing. You never disappoint the listener. You have nothing right from the start.
Well, that's quite a compliment to our writers.
Oh, sure. And I'm glad they heard that fair letter, folks, because our writing staff is headed by Eddie Foreman with Paul Collins, Pat Costello, Martin Rackaway, and Leonard Stern.
And our producer is Charles Vander. See you all next Thursday. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Listen each Thursday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.
From 75 years ago, January 27th, 1949, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. No horsing around. Danny Kaye is up next with an episode from 79 years ago where Danny is getting on the big bird and flying to Washington, D.C. And that's coming up next after we tell you comedies tomorrow will include Bob Hope, and Bob will be with Jimmy Stewart, Jimmy Durante Show, and a satire of T-Men, Father Knows Best, and Problems with Trash Cans. Also, Fibber McGee and Molly from 1946, Phil Harris and Alice Faye in the Red Cross Blood Drive, and an episode of the soap opera Claudia. That'll all be coming up on our Sunday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Next, though, Danny Kaye, get ready to chuckle some more. Yeah, chuckle. In fact, I can't talk.
Alert Americans will heed history's lessons. Throughout history, surprise has had a leading role in military disasters. Today, an enemy capable of surprise air attack could leave chaos in his wake. That's why you should be in the Civilian Ground Observer Corps, volunteering a few hours a week to guard our skies. Be a ground observer. Contact your local civilian defense office.
That was one of the big concerns in the 50s and 60s, gaps in early warning radar and not being able to tell if somebody might be flying over a weapon. Satellites have helped that quite a bit, but back in the day, you needed those civil defense watchers. All right, on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're going to go back almost 80 years. January 27th, 1945, Danny Kaye. And another all-star cast in this show from 79 years ago as Danny flies to Washington, D.C.
Pabst Blue Ribbon presents The Danny Kaye Show. Yes, neighbors, this is The Danny Kaye Show with Eve Arden, Lionel Stander, yours truly, Ken Niles, and the outstanding music of America's top band, Harry James and his music makers. For your entertainment, Pabst Blue Ribbon, 33 fine brews blended into one great beer, presents 33 fine talents blended into one great comedian, Danny Kaye. At the moment, we find our hero in his hotel room, splashing and singing in his bathtub. La donnez-moi ville, la donnez-moi ville, la ville high, et pensier, Just a moment, please. Pensier!
Now, who is it?
Peekaboo.
Oh, it's you, Lionel.
Woo!
Gosh, this water is cold.
Well, if it's so cold, why don't you turn the hot water on?
What, and kill the goldfish?
But Danny, why do you keep your goldfish in the bathtub?
Because I don't fit in the fishbowl. Look at those goldfish, Lionel. Aren't they cute? What's the matter with the dog?
Yeah, they are cute.
Yeah, and they're smart, too. Come on, you little devils. Whip your little tails around and wash the soap off Daddy.
Amazing.
Oh, nothing at all, Lionel, nothing at all. Now, come on, Goldies. Do a trick for your Uncle Lionel.
Well, I'll be darned. They're blowing soap bubbles.
Yes, well, I better hurry up and get dressed. I say a brisk rub down, a brush of the teeth, and... Oh, darn it.
Hey, Danny, what are you doing?
I squeezed too much toothpaste out, and now I'm having the darndest time pushing it back in the tube.
Yeah, I wonder why they make them tubes one way. Hey, Danny, why you got all your suits and stuff laid out? Are you going someplace?
Am I going someplace? I'm going to Washington, didn't you know?
I didn't even know you were elected.
I wasn't elected, Lionel. I'm flying to Washington today to entertain for the March of Dimes.
You are? I'll bet you'll have fun there, gee. I can just see it. The 9 of you out dining and dancing every night.
9? What 9?
Well, I read in the paper that there's 8 girls for every man in Washington. Boy, I wish I could go up with you.
I'm sorry, Lionel. Sorry, Lionel. Oh, that's fine. Maybe some other time, maybe.
Yeah, but by then the odds may be only 6 to 1. So you're flying to Washington?
Yep.
What's the matter, then?
Well, you know, I've never flown in a plane before.
Well, if you gotta fly, it's the best way.
Say, Lionel, would you do me a favor and help me on with this, please?
Oh, sure. Here, put your left arm in first.
Okay. Now, this goes round my left leg here, and that one round my right leg. Now, how do I look?
You look chick. Real chick.
Hey, would you help me out with my top coat now?
Okay. Hey, wait a minute, Danny.
What?
Don't you think you should wear your parachute over your top coat?
Oh, Danny, are you ready? Can I come in?
Oh, sure, Evie.
Oh, hello, Miss Arden.
Hello. Well, Danny, I see you're all dressed for the plane.
Yeah. How do I look?
Well, don't look now, but your ripcord is showing. Anyhow, why wear a parachute in a hotel?
Why wear a We're going down in the elevator, aren't we?
Oh, Danny Kaye, you're about the most jittery man I ever saw.
Well, I can't help it, Evie. It runs in the family.
What?
Sure. My father always had a fear of high altitudes. He'd get a nosebleed every time he stood on a thick carpet.
Gosh, was your father really like that?
Oh, yeah. He was afraid of water, too. He wouldn't even get into the bathtub unless there was a lifeguard sitting in the soap dish.
Gee, you must have had a big soap dish in your house.
No, Lionel, it was a small lifeguard.
Say, Danny, when you get to Washington, I'll bet you'll brush elbows with some dignified dignitaries and potential potentates.
You certainly will, Lionel.
Gee, suppose you met an earl or a duke. What would you say to him?
Oh, that's easy, Lionel. I just say, your lordship.
That's very good, Danny. And what would you say to his wife?
Your ladyship.
Mm-hmm. And how would you address an admiral?
Your flagship.
Sure. And the admiral's wife is your battleship.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was only kidding, Evie. I know how to act. You know, if I meet someone from the French embassy, I bow from the waist and say, Je le crois qu'on se joue de les mon clou, je dois un plaisir, je le vais plaire. Non.
That sounds good, but what does it mean?
I don't know.
Well, who cares anyway? Hey, Danny, what would you say if you met the Chinese ambassador?
Oh, the Chinese ambassador?
Yeah.
Molo, toi sala, main, lo, lo, lo.
If that means what it sounds like, I'm too young to listen. Oh, hello, Harry.
Hello, Eve. Say, Danny, what's that big package you've got out in the hall, all wrapped up in blue paper and pink ribbons?
Oh, that's a little gift I'm taking to somebody in Washington.
Little gift? It's huge. What is it, Danny?
Oh, it's that milking machine I bought last week. I'm going to present it to the Secretary of Agriculture.
Danny, the Secretary of Agriculture doesn't want a milking machine.
Look, Edie, let's leave that up to him, shall we?
Well, let me ask you one thing, Danny Kaye. Have you ever seen a cow in Washington?
No, and I've never seen one in Philadelphia. But I got milked in both places.
I think that's a very brilliant and thoughtful gift, Danny. Of course, the secretary may think you're a little nuts, but it's still very thoughtful.
Well, thank you.
A milking machine for the Secretary of Agriculture. It's too bad you haven't got an X-ray machine so you can take it to the Secretary of the Interior.
Well, that would be silly. But I think my gift is very appropriate. I even wrote a little verse to go with it. Would you like to hear it?
No.
No. Let's try that again, shall we? Would you like to hear it?
No!
That's fine. Now I'll read it to you. Dear Secretary of Ag, if the milk supply doth lag, Attach this machine, and your cows will come clean. Why should you be left holding the bag?
Hey, that's fun, Danny. Let me try to make up one.
Go ahead.
This sack of egg, what's here in this bag, ain't no Schiaparelli design. But any cow dressed in it will do her best in it. And she'll look simply bovine.
Say, that's not bad, but how about something like this? If your cow looks blue to you, won't say moo to you, and milking time makes her shudder, attach this machine. She'll be more than serene. And by Jove, she'll be utterly udder.
Oh, isn't that lovely? A het cow with silk milk, dream cream, and utter butter. Look, Danny, you better get to the airport. You got to pick up your tickets and everything.
Okay, Edie. Lionel, you take my overcoat, the milking machine, and my bag.
Okay, I got him. What's that?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Keep the milking machine away from that cowhide bag.
Well, while Danny Kaye is on his way to the airport, Harry James and his music makers celebrate their 6th anniversary by playing their famous record version of the King Porter Stomp. That was great, Harry. You know, I love that King Porter stomp. Say, King Porter, isn't that the fellow who wrote Night and Day?
No, Ken, that was Cole Porter.
Oh, that's right. Ah, Night and Day. It's so romantic.
Yes, isn't it? And who do you think of Night and Day, Ken?
Well, it isn't really a who, Harry. It's a what.
A what? What's a what?
One of the pleasantest whats in the world. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Ah, I see you're talking of the beer you love.
Oh, definitely, Harry. And why shouldn't I? Why, Pabst is as full of sparkling goodness as ripples in the moonlight. Its 33 brews as perfectly blended as the harmonies in a great love song.
33 brews that beat as one.
Yes, and I'm true blue to every brew. To Pabst Golden Color. To Pabst Outstanding Flavor.
Shh. Everybody will know your secret.
Well, I want them to know my secret. I want to share my love with the world. Pabst is grand. Pabst is perfect. Oh, Pabst.
Passengers for plane to Washington, gate number 3, please. Passengers for plane to Washington, gate number 3, please.
He must be a new man. You can understand everything he says.
Hey, Danny, that's your plane. You better get over to that ticket window and ask the girl for your reservation.
Gee, look at how long that line is.
Well, while you're waiting, Danny, I'll get your bags in the milking machine. See you in a couple of minutes.
Okay. Pardon me, is this the line where you wait for your reservation for the Washington plane?
Yes, it is.
Gee, I hope I don't have to wait long. Say, by the way, how long have you been waiting for your reservation?
What day is it?
Saturday, January 27th.
Monday will be 3 years.
3 years? Well, why didn't you try the train or the bus?
Oh, I prefer going by plane. It's quicker.
Oh, Mr. Jellison, here's your Esquire and a letter from your mother.
Thank you, postman.
Postman? Wait a minute. You mean you even get your mail here?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Mr. Jellison.
Yes, postman.
You'd better fill out a change of address card. You've moved up 2 places since Thursday.
Hey, Danny, I got your suitcases in the machine all taken care of. Didn't you get your ticket yet?
No, and the way it looks, Lionel, I may never get on that plane.
Oh, yes, you will. Somebody by the name of Stuyvesant who had a reservation can't go. He just got called back suddenly to his office.
How did you find that out?
I was eavesdripping.
Well, who is this Stuyvesant?
Oh, a big banker. Now, come on through this gate, Danny. Let's get you in on that plane.
Just a second. You can't come through this gate unless you got a reservation.
Oh, but you don't understand. Mr. Stuyvesant...
Oh, Mr. Stuyvesant, we've been waiting for you.
Oh, well, I was trying to tell you that...
Don't worry. We had instructions to save your seat until you came. Right this way, Mr. Stuyvesant.
But
Coming, Mr. Stuyvesant?
Huh?
Right through this gate, Mr. Stuyvesant.
But, Lionel, I don't think I should take Mr. Stuyvesant's seat.
Oh, stop worrying. If the seat fits, wear it.
Which one of you gentlemen is Mr. Stuyvesant's?
Mr. Kaye is Mr. Stuyvesant.
What?
I said Mr. Stuyvesant's okay.
Is this Mr. Stuyvesant the banker?
Than whom none other.
Well, I'm from the Daily Herald, and we'd like to know if there's anything you'd care to say before you take off.
Yes.
What?
Goodbye.
Oh, but Mr. Stuyvesant, as one of our leading financial authorities, what is your opinion of the effect reconversion will have on the unearned increment of a soluble corporation that has no holding company?
Well,
Mr. Stuyvesant?
Yes?
Would you rather go by bus?
No, not at all. I'm very glad you asked me that question, young lady. Very glad. That very same question, which when put to prominent banking authorities, must not be confused with each other. We feel that the fluctuating currency, which, by the way, has exemplified the monetary values thereof, is not at all. However, we feel that the man in the street does, and we must not question it.
Well, you're so right, Mr. Stuyvesant. The man in the street will be glad to hear that.
Well, don't tell him just yet, because, as a matter of fact, we're just in the process of...
Of what?
Exactly. And you may quote me.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Stuyvesant. A pleasant trip, Mr. Stuyvesant.
Is there a man by the name of Stuyvesant out there? Oh, sure. That's Mr. Stuyvesant getting his picture took. Say, when you see him, tell him I went to get his package.
Yes, I'll do that little thing. Say, Mr. Stuyvesant?
Oh, sorry, old chap. No more interviews. I must get on the plane.
That's what you think.
What do you mean?
I mean I have a warrant for your arrest, me fine check raiser.
Check raiser?
Sure, and the law has caught up with you, Mr. G. Wellington Stuyvesant, alias Barney the banker, alias Tuffy the Thug.
Tuffy the Thug? Officer, you've made a horrible mistake.
Oh, no, sonny boy, you have. Now, will you come quietly where I have to put the cuffs on you?
The cuffs? What is this? Tuffy the Thug cuffs, alias Stuyvesant? Look, I'm not Stuyvesant. I'm Danny Kaye.
Oh, Danny Kaye, is it? My boy, you're getting in deeper and deeper.
But, officer, now just...
Stuyvesant, here's your package.
Lionel, stop this business. I'm in trouble. Tell this man who I really am.
Oh, sure. He's Mr. G. Wellington Stuyvesant, the financial typhoon.
Oh, no!
Well, here's your bag, Mr. Stuyvesant, and the machine.
Lionel, will you stop the clowning and get that infernal machine out of here?
Oh, an infernal machine, eh? Going up the airport.
No, officer. It's not what you think.
Oh, thank heavens I got here in the nick of time. Now, what is this machine? You saboteur, you?
Officer, I can't tell you what that machine is. You'd think I was silly.
Oh, so you won't talk, eh? Well, we make you talk. Walk this way, you low-down, sneaking spy. Now, listen, you. I've had enough of this stalling. I'm giving you plenty of time to talk. Now, I don't like to get rough, but you're forcing me into it. Will you stop snapping me suspenders?
Well, I can't help it. They fascinate me. Gee, pre-war elastic.
Stop that, will you? Look here, you. Don't evade the issue. I want a confession. Yes, trying to tell us that this here machine is for an innocent little thing like milking a cow.
Officer, look, I've told you 1,000 times that's all it is. You see, these little nozzles fit on the cow.
Don't tell me what they fit on. It's either a time bomb or a thing that makes poison gas.
Then again, it could be a booby trap. Why don't you ask me? Is this his or is this hand me booby?
That's no use, Sergeant Barnett. Start working on the other one for a while.
Okay. Hey, you. Who? Me? Yeah, you. Start talking. What'll I talk about? Come on now. Stop acting dumb. Who's acting?
Now, wait a minute. This has gone far enough. You can't hold us here like this. I've got to get on that plane. Now, where's my bag?
We're not taking any chances on it exploding. It's soaking in that water tank over there.
Soaking in the tank? Oh, you can't do this to me. I'll take it to the chief. I'll take it to the mayor.
You better take it to the tailor. Your dress suit's in it.
Look, fellas, there's nothing in that bag but my clothes. Come on, I'll show you.
Wait a minute. Don't go near that tank. Look, there's bubbles coming out of that bag.
Bubbles?
Duck, everybody. It's going to blow up.
Oh, nothing's going to blow up. That's only my Alka-Seltzer.
I've had enough of this. Perry, take their prints and book them. You first, Goldilocks.
Now, wait a minute.
Now,
you just
here,
can't
just press your fingers on this ink pad. Come on, press them down there. That's it. Hey, Sarge, look. This guy ain't got no fingerprints.
Now, shall we try it with my gloves off? Look, I've got my license right here in my back pocket.
Look out, Sarge. Oh, reaching for a gun, huh?
Don't be silly. I wasn't reaching for a gun.
Oh, you'd rather use a knife, eh? Cold steel don't make no knife.
I haven't got a gun. I haven't got a knife. Look at me. Do you think I'm the criminal type? Look at me.
Yeah, look at him. Just gaze upon the gentle features of that innocuous physiognomy, that harmless innocent...
Yeah, the most dangerous type, a baby-faced killer.
A baby-faced killer? Oh, look, I can't stand this anymore. I just can't stand this. I don't keep my license in a booby trap. I'm not a cold-blooded Alka-Seltzer. I'm not a milk-faced baby machine. I'm Danny Kaye. Danny Kaye.
Oh, so you're back to that Danny Kaye routine again. Why don't you be Bob Hope for a while?
Okay. This is Bob. Can't get out of the police station. They think I'm a saboteur. How am I going to get to Washington? Hope speaking.
What do you know, Sarge? Oh, we've both been acting like a couple of imbeciles. It's Bob Hope. Mr. Hope, I'd recognize your voice any place. Always clown.
Yeah, always clown. Well, I guess we'll be running along now. And thanks for the memories. Coming, Mr. Colonna?
Coming, Gate. Let's emulate.
Hey, what's going on here?
Yeah, quiet, Niles.
Well, I was told to rush down here and identify you. What's the...
Quiet, Niles. It's all fine. Just fine. They know me now.
Sure, everybody knows Mr. Bob Hope.
Yes, Sir Bob... Are you kidding? He's Danny Kaye.
Oh, so it's Danny Kaye again, is it?
Yeah, and who are you? One of the Kaye gang?
Sure, we work together all the time.
Aha, now start talking and talk fast. Where have you been?
The radio station.
Oh, shortwaving to the enemy, eh?
No, I was just talking about 33 Brews.
Oh, there are 33 of you.
No.
32?
No, it was 33, I tell you. 33. Yes, 33 brews all blended into one great beer.
He's talking in code, Perry.
You better tell us the truth.
Oh, but I always tell the truth about Pabst Blue Ribbon. I tell you, it's full flavor blended.
Are you decoding this, Perry?
Yes, but it still comes out beer.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Order it with confidence. Serve it with pride. For no matter where you go, there is no finer beer, no finer blend than Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst.
Stand back, Perry. This guy's going to explode.
Yeah, let's take the bags out of the tank and put him in it.
Oh, this is too much. I can't stand this, I tell you. Look, this is Ken Niles, and that's Lionel Stander, and I'm Danny Kaye.
Ah, a likely story.
I'm Danny Kaye, I tell you. What can I do? How can I prove it to you fellas? Look, I've got it.
Ah, he's cracking at last. You taking that down, Sarge?
Every word of it.
All right, keep talking.
He's with me. Milking machine. Gotta go to Washington to go on the bed. The bed won't say that the march of dimes is going on there. To get to the bottle, the bed don't say. The milking machine. You gotta let me go now, Cleary, please. I'm Danny Kaye. I'm telling you. I'm Danny Kaye.
Oh, there's no mistake in that. You're Danny Kaye, all right, but I'm still not letting you go.
But, officer, look, I have to catch that plane for Washington.
Oh, you'll make it all right, and we'll give you a police escort, too, if you do one little thing for me.
What's that?
Can you sing me a sweet old Irish tune, Me Fine Broth of a Boy?
Well, me fine broth of a policeman, that I can do and do. Well, anyway, here's the most beautiful Irish folk song I know. It's called The Story of Molly Malone. In Dublin's fair city, the girls are so pretty, 'twas there that I first met sweet Molly Malone. She drove her wheelbarrow through streets wide and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and faith 'tis no wonder her mother and father were fishmongers too. They drove their wheelbarrow through streets wide and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that's all I know of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost drives her barrow through streets wide and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive,
alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
Passengers for plane to Washington, gate number 3, please. Passengers for plane to Washington, gate number 3, please.
Well, here I go. I've got my own ticket this time.
Hey, Danny, look, I got the machine back for you.
Oh, go away, Lionel, and take that infernal machine with you.
Infernal machine, just a minute there, bud. Oh, no!
Good night.
And don't forget, neighbors, next Saturday, another great Danny Kaye Show with Eve Arden, Lionel Stander, Harry James and his music makers, and Danny Kaye. This program was directed by Dick Mack and was brought to you by the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Peoria, Illinois. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Of course, an all-star cast that most of you know. You might not remember the name Lionel Stander, though. Lionel Stander is probably best known after, he went through the whole blacklist thing. He was blacklisted from the late 40s till the mid-60s. He did get a big role on the television show Heart to Heart. Remember that with Robert Wagner and Stephanie Powers. They were the wealthy couple that got into crime fighting and all that, and he was their head servant in the house and chauffeur and all of that. But he died in 1994 at the age of 86. So yeah, big star. And he did lots of early significant movies too. He was in Mr. Deeds Goes to Washington, Meet Nero Wolfe, playing Archie Goodwin, The League of Frightened Men, and A Star is Born. He was in a lot of good movies, and did lots of radio work, too. Lionel Stander, and, of course, all the other cast in the Danny Kaye Show. 1945, set January 27th, 1945, 79 years ago. Up next, Say the Secret Word, and Groucho will pull out a $100 bill for you. You bet your life. 70 years ago, January 27th, 1954. That's up next, but first, this important message.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Boris Karloff. No one can guarantee the survival of every home during a nuclear war, but a strong civil defense can save millions of lives. Make sure that yours is one of them. Learn how to protect your home. Call Civil Defense today.
I don't know what's scarier, the bomb or Boris Karloff. Okay, on this Saturday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, started 2 days' worth of comedy here. And we continue now with Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life. This episode where the secret word, well, Venom will tell you that in a moment, the secret word, from 70 years ago, January 27th, 1954.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is money. M-O-N-E-Y.
Really?
You bet your life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
not overdo it now. Well, here I'm again with $1,500 for one of our couples. George, who's first?
Well, Groucho,
How were you looking? Why were you looking at me that way?
I was waiting for you to ask me just that question.
Oh, I thought perhaps you were admiring me.
Oh, well, that too.
That was secondary, then.
Now, would you like to meet our first couple, Groucho?
Frankly, no.
Well, I think I'm going to bring them in anyhow.
Drag them in, I don't.
They're Miss Irene Vijunas and Mr. Walter Scheibel. They volunteered to be on our show tonight, and here they are. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx. Now.
What?
You see?
Did I say no? What a fool I was. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word, and you'll divide 100 smackers. It's a common word, something you see every day. Irene Vesuvius, huh? You're a volcano, huh?
Not quite.
What is that?
Vijunas.
Vijunas?
Yes, you see, in Lithuanian we have a little mark over the Z, and that makes it a Z.
Well, you can't notice it from here, huh? Irene, where are you from heretofore?
I beg your pardon?
No, I don't blame you for saying that. Where are you from originally?
Lithuania.
Where do you spring from?
Lithuania.
Oh. Would you mind telling us how old you are, Irene?
No, not at all. I'm 29.
Are you really? Well, you don't look it. I thought you were about 21, huh?
Thank you very much.
You have a very cute squint.
Thank you. Squint.
Walter Scheibel, huh?
That's correct.
Where are you from, Walter?
New York City. I was born number 13, East 113th Street.
Is that so?
Third floor.
Third floor. In the back, I presume, huh?
Well, upstairs.
What did you do in New York? Did you have a job?
No, I joined the Navy when I was 16, Groucho.
To see the world?
No, I saw a motion picture called Behind the Door with Hobart Bosworth in it. He was a New England fisherman, and a German submarine come up manned by Erich von Stroheim.
Yeah.
And they were out in a rowboat, and they snatched his wife, and Bosworth swore revenge, and I thought I'd join the Navy to help him out.
So what'd you do? Get a rowboat and chase him?
No, I joined the Navy.
Oh. How long did you stay in the Navy? Just long enough to catch that German submarine?
No, until they found out my right age, and then they kicked me out, Groucho.
They kicked you out of the Navy, huh?
That's right.
That must have been a boot camp. You just play around with that a while. You'll find there's a pretty big joke there. It's not worth laughing at, but it's a big joke nevertheless. What about you, Irene, you dainty lit you? What sort of work does your husband do?
No, I'm not married.
Well, things are looking up. Good evening, Irene.
How do you do?
Do you like to go out on dates?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do very much, but at the present time, I'm much too busy. You see, I'm a part-time bookkeeper at the Brown Derby, and I also go to UCLA full-time. And then, of course, when I come home, I have to do my homework.
Yeah, well, I thought perhaps we could do it together. What are you taking at UCLA?
I'm majoring in chemistry.
In chemistry, huh? You wouldn't want to get together with me some evening and isolate a few viruses?
Well,
Cold germ or something like that?
If my schedule permits.
What sort of things have you studied in chemistry, Irene?
Well, besides chemistry, of course, I had to take some prerequisite courses, such as physics, which was mechanics, electricity and sound, and light. And now I'm taking quantitative analysis.
Well, that's very interesting, Irene. I didn't understand anything you said, but it's certainly interesting. What sort of work do you do, Walter?
I'm a painter, Groucho.
You're a painter?
That's right.
Have you ever painted yourself into a corner?
No, but I had something worse happen to me than that. Contractor sent 3 of us out on a job, and we were on it 3 days, and he showed up on the job, and he went into a rage. We were painting the wrong house.
Well, is that unusual?
Well, it certainly is.
What did you do? Did you ever finish the house?
Well, we did. We finished the house. I asked the woman, I says, how come when we came here that you didn't tell us this wasn't the house? And she said, did I ask you to paint the house? And I says, no. And she says, be satisfied we like the color, otherwise we'd make you paint it over. And she was right, too.
about the house you were supposed to paint?
Well, the address was 351 where we were supposed to go to, but there was a curlicue on the 1, so we took it for a 7 and we painted the house 2 doors away.
You should take Irene with you. She's good at all these kind of higher mathematics. Have you ever done anything besides painting?
Yes, I have a hobby, photography and barking, Groucho.
Photography and barking?
That's right.
Well, that's a natural combination. What was that last one?
Barking.
Barking, huh?
That's right.
Oh, you sly dog, you, huh? How did you ever get started barking? Did the postman bite you?
No. Groucho, we had a clogged drain in our bathtub at home, and I tried to imitate the gurgle, and it turned into a bark, and from that I started imitating different dogs.
Well, could you give us a demonstration, Walter? Could you do a Norwegian elk hound?
I think so.
That sounds more like the Claude Drain to me. I'm curious, how did you become a professional barker? Just where do you do this barking?
Well, Groucho,
Is there a field for this thing?
No, there's not, but I generally go, when I do shopping, I go in the banks or in the grocery stores, and so many people have gloomy faces these days that I bark a little bit when I see them, and they perk up and start smiling. Feel happy.
Well, if you're going to bark, why don't you do it in a butcher shop where it'll do you some good? Why do it in a bank?
Well, that would help out too, Groucho.
Is there any future in television for your talent?
I don't think so, Groucho. If you've watched commercials lately, most of the commercials advertising dog food, the dogs talk.
That's true. That's what's happened. 4 years of television, and look what's happening.
Yep.
We've got talking dogs and barking people. Well, it's time to call a halt to the small talk. If you win some money, you can do some whining later on. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life, and you win more money than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big question. You should have a very good chance here tonight with Irene, because Irene is mixed up with so many studies at school that I don't understand, that she must be a real hep cat when it comes to intelligence.
Something.
I never thought I'd work myself out of that. This is a culinary quiz. Now, you have 10 questions here, and pick any ones you want. You can pick, you have 4 of these. And it's up to you. And your attractive partner there.
50?
What shall we start?
50?
50? Okay.
Fine.
I'm
50?
game.
Remember, one answer between you.
Fine.
Fine.
Now, on the $50 one, what are oolong and souchong?
That's a Chinese dish. Right?
What are
A
they?
Chinese dish.
Well, no. There are many Chinese dishes. These are varieties of tea. All right. Well, you've still got many chances to win a lot of swag here. Which question do you want this time?
60? Let's try the 60.
60. If France is the home of Roquefort cheese, what country is the home of Edam cheese? E-D-A-M.
Switzerland. Switzerland.
Yeah, that's this.
Switzerland.
No. It's Holland.
Holland.
All right. No despair yet. You've got 2 more chances. Which one do you want?
70?
Yeah.
All right, let's take the 70.
70. The unit used in expressing the energy and heat-producing value of food is called what? A lot of people count them.
Yeah, that's right.
Calories.
Calories is right.
Well, you now have $70.
Now, which one do you want?
Let's try the 80. Let's try the 80.
80. What do you call the metal or wooden pins used to keep meat or poultry in shape while cooking?
Metal pin.
Stitches. Stitches.
Pivot?
No, skewers they're called. Skewers.
And you wind up with $70.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. What now, Benjamin?
Oh, we have some people with interesting jobs for you now, Groucho. So, Mrs. Ruby Williams and Mr. John Lee, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome, youngsters, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Ruby Williams and Mr. John Lee, eh? Mrs. Williams, where were you born?
Marietta, Oklahoma.
Marietta, Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Well, I went horseback riding down there many years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Used to ride on the prairie down there. Brittany got killed, too. A horse stepped in a gopher hole down there. And the gopher started to chase us, but the horse outran him. Disappeared. Not that last part, but the first part. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Uh-huh. How did you meet your husband? I presume you met him.
Well, I was manager of Western Union in Wagner, Oklahoma. And I was living...
Funny, I was saddle riding in Wagner, Oklahoma once. Horse fell in a gopher hole. The horse stayed there, and I rode the gopher the rest of the way. So help me, you can ask Cal Tenney if that ain't true.
You got the floor.
You say you were in Wagner, Oklahoma? What were you doing there, Ruby?
I was manager of the Western Union.
Oh, and did you get married in Oklahoma?
That's right.
Well, then it wasn't a Western Union, it was a Midwestern Union.
Well, those things.
You like that, huh?
That's very good. Yeah.
It was rather cozy, wasn't it, huh?
Very pretty.
You're Mr. John Lee, huh?
That's right.
Are you one of the Lees of Virginia?
No, I'm from England.
Oh, you're one of the Lend-Lees, huh? What sort of work do you do, John?
I've just opened a studio in Hollywood where I do a certain amount of society portraits and theatrical portraits and
Is that
fashion
still
work.
society?
Well, in a small way.
Oh, I thought the income tax had taken care of that. Huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, most of my work is fashion photography. I photograph
Commercial stuff? Huh?
Commercial dresses, mostly.
Photograph dresses?
That's right.
Do they have models in them?
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Does your wife worry about you spending your time with these beautiful models?
Well, she really doesn't have to worry. She's the most beautiful girl in the world, so it doesn't matter much to her.
He doesn't believe it.
Have you been hitting the old red eye? You say she's the most beautiful girl in the whole world?
Oh, yes, definitely. I should know,
You're
too.
covering a lot of territory there, Johnny boy.
I have covered a lot of territory.
Could you describe this wunderkind for us?
Well, she's very tall. She's 5'10". She has a very perfect figure. She's blonde. She has wonderful features. And just altogether the most beautiful girl in the world.
Sounds like quite a dish. Well, Mrs. Williams, I'll call you Ruby. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Fenneman says you have an interesting occupation. Just what is it you do?
I work for the Southern Pacific.
Oh, you're a railroad man, huh? What kind of work do you do for the railroad, Rube?
Oh, well, I'm a brass pounder.
A brass pounder? What is a brass pounder?
That's telegrapher.
Oh, I see.
To pound the brass, to telegraph keys.
Samuel Morse? Is that his name?
That's right.
Where do you hold this job?
Moore Park, California, in Simi Valley.
You know, railroad men are supposed to be real he-men. Do they ever give you any trouble, Ruby?
No, they don't give me any trouble. They kid me sometimes.
Yeah. I guess since those diesel engines came in, the railroad men don't have the steam they used to have. Don't they ever chase you around the pot-bellied stove in the station house?
No, there's an old railroad song, Head for the roundhouse, Nellie. He can't corner you there.
My gosh, I've been railroaded. Well, I hate to change the subject, but now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, you'll get a chance at a lot of money.
In the race for the $1,500, the first couple won $70, and the secret word is money.
Let's see how much money you can make. You selected dictionary quiz. Is that right?
That's right,
That's
yes.
right. Now.
We'll start off with 100.
100? Oh. What do you call the number above the line in fractions? Talk it over. And if you don't know, guess.
The hyphen?
It's the numerator. All right, well, there goes the $100 one.
Try the 90.
90. All right, if you had acrophobia, what would you be afraid of?
Heights.
Great heights is right. That's
Well,
a tough question.
It sure is, and you have
Did you know
$90.
that?
I certainly didn't.
Now, what do you want?
Try the 80.
All right. What do you call a person who prepares and creates dances and dance routines?
The choreographer.
Choreographer is correct.
You now have $170.
Oh, this fellow's real cool. Now, what do you want?
70.
70. Do you know the Indian word for corn? And it's not television.
Yeah, I should for local.
You don't know?
No, I'm afraid not.
Whiskey. Corn whiskey's all I know.
No, it's maize. M-A-I-Z-E. Well, Finneman?
And you wind up with $170.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you.
All right, George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, just before we went on the air, our studio audience chose Dolores Doss to be on the show. And her partner has an interesting profession. He's Mr. Bill Lasky. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, youngsters, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day, I hope. Dolores? Ross? Ross, is that right?
Doss.
Doss. Let's start with you. I always like to start with a girl. I don't get very far, but I always like to start with them. Where is your hometown, Dolores?
It's the beer town, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
How old would you say you were if you were just taking a guess, Dolores?
23.
23. Oh, that's a ripe old age, huh? If you weren't taking a guess, how old would you be?
23.
Same thing, huh?
That's right.
No time off for good behavior at all. You're Bill Lasky, huh?
That's
Where are
right,
you
Groucho.
from, Willie?
From Hollywood, California.
Oh, well, that makes you a native son, huh?
That's right, Groucho.
I knew your brother very well, native dancer. Real character, too, always horsing around. How old are you, Bill?
31.
31, huh? Well, that's a ripe old age, too, huh? And you were born in Hollywood 31 years ago?
Yes, at the Good Samaritan Hospital.
Well, that's a rare species, you know, anybody who's born in this town. What sort of work do you do, Bill?
I'm a herpetologist, Groucho.
What's your language, Bill? The children listen to this program. You say you're a herpetologist, and you sure you're on the right show?
I think so.
We haven't had a herp around here for months. It isn't a harp, eh? A herpetologist, like my brother?
No.
What is a herpetologist?
Well, a herpetologist is a man who studies snakes.
Well, you're on the right show, all right. Well, is that all you do? Just study snakes?
No, I study turtles and lizards and other crocodilians, alligators and crocodiles.
Where do you do your studying? In the tall grass?
No, up at the Griffith Park Zoo. I'm a curator of reptiles up there.
I see. How did you get interested in reptiles? Was this an ambition you had as a boy, Bill?
Well, I had a pet boa constrictor. You know, some boys have a pet dog or a cat they remember from their childhood. Well, this boa was a very special pet of mine. He lived in a shower, and he used to have daily shower baths, and occasionally I even took him to bed like a toy or something like that.
How long was he?
About 6.5 feet long. Well behaved.
Do you miss him?
No, I have no regrets.
Whatever happened to him, do you know?
I don't remember, Groucho. There have been many snakes in my life, though.
Isn't that true of all of us? How come your old man let you play with these things? Was he a little wacky?
No, I don't think so. In fact, Groucho, I believe he's a friend of yours.
Well, then there's a chance that he's wacky. You say he's a friend of mine?
Yeah.
Bill Lasky? Your father is Jesse Lasky, the movie producer?
That's right, Groucho.
Well, I know him very well, and a nicer guy who never lived either. We did a lot of movies for your father, you know. Why don't you tell the people something about your father? He's one of the most illustrious pioneers of the business.
I think the most interesting thing I probably could say would be that the very site of this studio, right where we're standing now, was the old barn, the barn site of famous players Lasky, which was the first company, I believe, in Hollywood. You can probably help me on these things because, as you remember, I was very small at the time.
You were big enough to handle a 6-foot snake.
But,
oh, he's a wonderful man. We worked for him for 5 years, you know. We did 5 pictures at Paramount.
What wasn't one an animal picture, Animal Crackers?
Well, it wasn't an animal picture. We were in it, but...
Duck Soup.
Duck Soup, Monkey Business.
More animals.
Coconuts. And horse feathers. Say, there were 4 animals in those 5 pictures we made. Didn't you ever visit the set when we were working there with my brothers?
I don't remember. I would have been a very, very small boy.
Yeah, I know. You have to keep harping on that. You're not a herpetologist, you're a harpologist. Well, you're a nice young couple, and I'd like to keep on talking to you two, and I hope you're very happy together.
No complaints.
No complaints. Now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. Now, all you have to do is win more money than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big question later.
In the race for the $1,500, Mrs. Williams and Mr. Lee are leading with $170.
You selected the animal kingdom.
What do you want to take? Let's try a $20 question just for the
20. What bird is known as the harbinger of spring?
The harbinger of spring?
Yeah.
It's the robin.
I heard you. It's the robin. That's right.
Well, you're on your way. You have $20.
Now what?
Oh, $40.
Fine.
40?
40.
What kind of birds arrive on schedule at a California mission every year?
The swallows of Capistrano.
That is right. The swallows of Capistrano.
You now have $60.
Now what?
You decide now. You've done good so far.
Well,
that's a typical woman, shifting the responsibility. Huh?
$60.
$60 there?
Fine.
Do my best.
Okay. In the rhyme, who killed Cock Robin?
Killed Cock Robin.
Take a guess.
A cat?
I said the sparrow.
Oh, my little bow and arrow.
Yeah. You still have $60,
All
however.
right. Now what one do you want?
Oh, let's take the $100 and see what we can do.
100?
Go ahead. Fine.
I'll try.
What mythological bird rose from the ashes to be reborn again?
The phoenix bird.
Phoenix, Arizona is right.
And you wind up with $160.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers.
That means that the railroad lady and her partner with $170 in just one moment will get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Friends, we've heard the same report from all over the country. The Groucho Special used cars are the best used cars in town by far. Well, that makes very good sense to us. You see, to begin with, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer gets better cars in trade for new DeSotos and Plymouths. That means his whole stock of used cars are fine, well-conditioned cars that are really good bargains. Then he goes through that stock of fine used cars and picks a few of the very best as Groucho Specials. When you see that Groucho Special sticker on a car, you'll know it's your DeSoto Plymouth dealer's way of pointing out what he really thinks is a good buy. Of course, all his used cars are bargain priced, with low down payments and easy budget payments stretching over many months. Tomorrow, stop in and see your friendly DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Examine his fine stock of wonderful used cars. Take special notice of those wonderful Groucho specials. You better hurry, though, because they're going fast.
And when you drive in to see the Groucho specials, tell them Groucho sent you.
And here's the winning couple, Groucho, the railroad lady and her partner, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question.
For $1,500, tell me, according to the 1950 federal census, what is the largest city in the state of Montana? The top one. If you don't know, guess.
Butte. Say Butte.
Yes.
Have a good time.
What's the answer you two have decided upon?
Well, we really haven't much idea, but we'll guess Butte.
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer is Great Falls.
Oh,
Great Falls.
Great Falls.
I'm sorry. That means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. Well, they lost the big money, but they did pretty well. How much they win?
$170 in the quiz.
Well, thanks and good luck and congratulations. And to all of our contestants on the show tonight from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers of the United States.
That's too bad. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth, two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
The DeSoto Plymouth dealers join the more than 3 million YMCA members around the country in paying tribute to this worldwide organization during National YMCA Week. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jack Meakin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life from 70 years ago, January 27, 1954. You're listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, tomorrow, by the way, on this show, Bob Hope, Jimmy Durante, Father Knows Best with Robert Young, Fibber McGee and Molly, Phil Harris and Alice Faye, and Claudia. That's all coming up tomorrow. But right now, well, tomorrow's episode of Fibber McGee and Molly is going to be of a more recent vintage. It will be from 1947. This episode's going to go back 11 years before that to 1936, and we will find out about the chef.
A well-designed school can be more than a fine building and a place for learning. It can also protect the children, the teachers, and the whole neighborhood, too, if the architect has designed the school to serve as a community fallout shelter as well. Over 13,000 architects and engineers have been trained in fallout shielding techniques. To learn more about building fallout shelter into new schools, contact your local civil defense director.
Or you can go online to civildefensemuseum.com. That's civildefensemuseum.com. You can find those documents under the Documents tab there. check it all out. Alrighty, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now with an early episode of Fibber McGee and Molly. This goes back 88 years to January 27th, 1936, and the first appearance of someone who would be a long-time person on the show, Bill Thompson.
The Johnson Wax Program. Good evening, everybody. The makers of Johnson's Wax lead you to another load of lusty, lively laughs and lovely, luscious lyrics with Rico Marcelli's orchestra, Audrey Call, and that outstanding, outrageous outfit of outlying outskirts, Fibber McGee and Molly. Marcelli and his men lead off with Say It With Music. Say it, senor. Timely suggestion. To protect your windowsills so they will not be ruined by the snow that drifts in, be sure to give them a coat of Johnson's Wax. So our old friend Fibber McGee is going to wind up as a jack of all trades, with no trade and less jacks. 2 weeks ago, he was hounded out of the dog business. Last week, he turned out to be a dope in the drug game. But maybe he's hitting his stride now as a restaurant man. Yes, sir. Here we find him at the big all-American restaurant in Wistful Vista, Nick DePopulous, proprietor, about to embark on another career with the faithful Molly along as advisor.
Kind of a high-class joint, ain't it, Molly?
What makes you think so, McGee?
Oh, look at the sign. Watch your hat and coat. Shucks, nobody ain't going to swipe no cheap coats, are they? Good coats, nice people. See to it?
Oh, I don't know, McGee. Mort Toops was telling me he ate in here, and while he was watching his coat, somebody stole his spaghetti. I wonder what's keeping Mr. What's his name again, McGee?
DePopulous. Nick DePopulous. Molly?
That's a fine name for a restaurant owner, Nick the Populous. I wonder where he is, McGee.
He's probably out in the kitchen cooking up some New Deal soup.
What might New Deal soup be?
That's alphabet soup with 3 A's took out of it. You get it, Molly? I said...
Ah, tain't funny, McGee.
Okay. How'd Mort say the food was here, Molly?
Oh, he didn't complain about the food, only the service.
Service?
Sure, he says he got so's he'd only order a couple of hickory nuts for lunch.
Hickory nuts?
Yes. He said the waitress couldn't get her thumbs into those.
Hello, Skids.
Oh, hi there, Nick, old kid.
I'm glad you like for to make the terrifical happiness. This is fine in the restaurant business. Always cheerful. That is the successfully way how to do it.
You betcha. Molly, meet up with Mr. DePopulous. Nick, this here's my wife, Molly.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. DePopulous.
I'm fine, too. No, thank you.
Well, Sir Nick, I'm raring to get on the job. What do I do, head waiter?
No, DePopulous is for to have no head waiting. Just the wait.
Just to wait for what?
Just the waiting on the tables, Mr. McGee. Are you having some experiments? I guess not, you hope?
Give me a second helping of that, Nick. I didn't quite get it.
McGee, he wants to know what experience you've had in restaurants.
Sure. Experiments is the best teaching.
Well, sir, I had me quite a bit of experience, Nick, down in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Mr. Chusnitz. Oh, sure. I'm having 6 restaurants that place once.
Oh, you did, eh? Well, sir, I was quite a figure in the restaurant game myself, being head waiter at the old Herpel Hoop Hotel.
Sure. A head waiter. He waited and waited and never got ahead.
Hi-ho McGee, they called me in them days, Nick. Hi-ho McGee, the handsome hawk-eyed high-pressure head waiter of the Herpel Hoop Hotel in Haverhill. Why, mind one time I was...
Oh, don't be gadding, McGee. Maybe Mr. DePopulous wants you to start work.
Do you, Pop?
Sure. I'm glad you report to having those fine experiments in the restaurant business. You should make very good.
Very good what?
Dishwashing.
Huh?
Dishwashing.
Dishwashing? Who, me? No, sir, not me, Nick. Why? That'd be like hiring this here fella, Professor Einstein, to do little Willie's homework.
Now, don't be proud, McGee. Pride goeth before a fall, you know.
Shucks, before fall, I'll own this beanery. Listen here, Nick. A minute ago you said you wanted me to wait table. Now you says dishwashing.
Sure, that's a fine way to doing it. Part time wash dishes, part time waits tables, part time makes changing for to be cashiers. Always got to keep him plenty busy in the restaurant business.
You'll be so busy, McGee, I'll have to get you out with a habeas corpus.
Who's you mentioning his name, lady?
Habeas corpus.
Oh, sure, habeas corpus. He's my second cousin. Habeas corpus Theodophilus DePopulous. He is for running the new DePopulous Parthenon restaurant business in a high-class neighborhood in Chicago.
That's so.
On Missy Goose Bouillard.
Well, now, what do you say we get started, Nick?
Huckly duckly. Come on out in the restaurant, Mr. McGee.
Just call me Fibber, bud.
Huckly duckly, Fizzer. Suppose you are for to showing me of your experiments in how you're carrying dishes loaded for trays, you think?
Uh-oh. What you mean, oh, Molly? Why, shucks, ain't nothing to carrying a load of dishes onto a tray. Just a matter of being sure-footed and having a sense of balance. Ain't it, Nick?
Sure, that's fine for having a balances. Also, it is good tricks for to have no soupings on the floor.
Sure. No soupings on the floor and no eggings on the vest.
You like for to try carrying a tray full of dishes, Fizzer?
You betcha.
Well, now, here's a lot of dishes. I'll hold the tray for you whilst you're loading.
No, Cupid. He should be for doing it alone.
Well, don't think I can't do it alone, Nick. Watch this.
Look at that, Mr. DePopulous. Look at him pile them up.
He's not very good restaurant peoples. He's for putting little dishes on the bottom under beneath the big dishes. This will make for feeder topplings and pretty soon crossings on the floor and bang goes a profit. Hey, remembering, Caesar, the waiters always pay for their own breakings.
What say, Nick? How am I doing?
Already you've piled bigger dishes than most people in the restaurant's business. Can you carry in this load?
You get that, Molly? Yes. He wants to know if Fibber McGee can tote a few saucers. Why, shucks, Nick, you ain't seen nothing.
Yes, I hope not.
Maybe you better let me give you a hand, McGee.
Stand back, Molly. I'll handle her. One more of these platters. A sugar bowl. A bottle of ketchup.
By Custer, I don't think he'll make it.
Now then, Nick, watch this.
Up you go, McGee. Up. Ah, there. You see how easy he done it?
Give me a push to get started, Molly.
Okay, McGee.
I says push, not shove.
McGee, straighten your knees.
I can't.
Watch him, Mr. DePopulous. I'll bet he don't drop a single teaspoon.
That's fine.
Just set him down there on the table by the door, McGee.
Right here.
That's
okay.
There.
There you are, Nick. How's that? Never cracked a cup.
He didn't think you could do it, McGee.
It looks like I jumped at a convulsion.
Why, shucks, Nick, that was nothing. Why, I mind one time at a banquet for the Johnson wax salesman up in Racine, Wisconsin, I carried out the dishes on a bet.
On a bed, always my waitress is for using trays.
No. No, Mr. DePopoulos. On a bet, they bet McGee he couldn't carry the dishes out and not bust any. Am I right, McGee?
You betcha. There was 252 salesmen eating there, and counting about 9 dishes apiece.
That's about 3,250.
No, it's about 2,250. You're 1,000 too much, Mr. DePopoulos.
Sure, Cupid. In the restaurant business, when you make out the check, first guessing is always too much.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Well, I got one big tray, loaded all them 2,250 dishes onto it, and waltzed them out into the kitchen without dropping a single poppy seed off in a single roll.
Oh.
That's why I said...
That's why maybe I think you should be carrying these dishes back to the kitchen. Tables in restaurants is no places for dirty dishes.
Oh, shucks, Nick, I showed you I could carry him, didn't I?
Oh, McGee, go on. Carry him out to the kitchen.
Okay.
Up you go, McGee. Up. There.
This way.
You think he can making it, Cupid?
Oh, don't you worry about McGee. I make him wash and dry the dishes every night. Look out for the dog, McGee. McGee, get up. Get up, McGee, and scrape the gravy off your face.
Who run into me?
Listening, please, Mr. Fizzle. In restaurants business, there are 2 doors for to go in kitchen. One door is for going out from. One door is for coming inside with. It is very fine ideas with trays full dishes to use door for properly usefulness. See? Now you beldums get up and sweeping broken dishes, hopelessly.
Before we go back to Mr. Nick DePopula's restaurant, I want to tell you that a great many restaurants, beauty shops, and stores of all kinds have found that proper floor care is a vital necessity to any business which depends on making a good impression on the general public. Floors that are wax polished are more attractive to customers, actually help business because they look so much cleaner and brighter. Managers of restaurants and beauty shops, as well as office buildings, find that waxing saves both money and time in the upkeep of large floor areas. Wax seals the pores and cracks of wood and linoleum against dirt and grime and does away with the old-fashioned methods of floor scrubbing. S.C. Johnson and Son Incorporated, Racine, Wisconsin, makers of Johnson's Wax, will gladly send any businessman or woman information and samples of their products, especially packaged and priced for use on large floor areas. Please write on your business letterhead. And now, our little solo violinist, Audrey Call, is going to play her own arrangement of With All My Heart. Fortissimo, carissima?
No, pizzicato, kiddo.
in the DePopulous restaurant, we find that Fibber is going to get another chance to make good after he paid for his broken dishes. Here are Nick, Molly, and Fibber going through the kitchen.
My, look how clean and shiny everything is, McGee.
It is kind of bright at that, ain't it, Molly? And look at that roast chicken. Hot dog. I think I'll just try a leg and see how good the cooking is here, Molly.
McGee, let things alone. Is he supposed to sample things, Mr. DePopulous?
Those chickens is not supposed for eating.
Oh, now don't give me that stuff, Nicky. I never could resist a nice roasted chicken like that. You hold her, Molly, whilst I rip off a leg. Say, I think I'm going to like working here.
What's the matter?
Why, that dad-ratted chicken is made out of cardboard.
You see, wise people? Huh? I'm foretelling you. Those chickens is not for eating. He is for to be putting in the front window.
Oh.
That's what you get for trying to pull his leg, McGee.
Ain't funny, Molly. What's in that door there, Nick?
That is a linen closet. Tablecloth, napkins, aprons.
Oh. How about the big door there? Is that the safe?
Sure, Cupid. That's where I save my fresh meats from spoiling.
Oh, the icebox, huh?
Refrigerator to you, McGee.
Certainly. It's a fine thing in a restaurant business for to have a big refrigerator. Come, see.
Heavenly days. Look at the meat hanging in there, McGee.
Looks like it'd feed the Army and Navy and have a little left over for the Marines.
Marines?
Yeah.
My restaurant don't serve seafood.
Well, it's kind of cold in here, ain't it?
What'd you expect, to come in here and roast marshmallows?
Now, look. On these hooks, I'm for to keeping biffs.
Biffs? Oh, I get it, Nick. Kind of a steer house for stores and a storehouse for steers. Ain't funny, McGee.
Heavenly days. Let's get out of here before we freeze.
Hockly duckly. Come, I'll show you the different departments of the kitchen.
Look at the stove, McGee. It must be 40 feet long.
Yes, and I'd like to see the whole dad-ratted top of it covered with buckwheat cake. Hey, what's this little squirt gun for, Nick?
McGee, don't be getting into things.
No, Peter. Maybe I should perhaps warning you.
Huh?
This chef, he is very squeamerish. He has bad tempering. If you should fall to annoying him, he is undoubtful to killing you with a cleaver, I believe it.
Why, I ain't scared of no dad-ratted cook.
Be careful, McGee. He's got a wild look in his eye. And look at them shoulders. He must be as strong as a bull.
Lady, he is a bull. He's cousin to Jim Landos, champion wrestling people.
Oh.
Say, you trying to scare me, Nick? Why, shucks, I can handle your dad-ratted cook.
McGee, he's looking right at you.
Oh. Hi, brother. How are you?
Oh.
See? That's what he does when he gets mad.
Oh.
He is for looking very sourpuss at you. Now, what is it you were telling me about a question, is it?
Well, McGee was asking what the little squirt gun was for.
I suppose that's to kill flies with or something.
Oh, no, Peter. Flies we are not having in good restaurants. This little squidget, he is for making the beautiful, pretty fancies on the pastry. You grab me?
Oh. I see. You squirt out the whipped cream and stuff for icing the cake.
Sure. You're grabbing on quick, Cupid.
Oh, shucks, that's what I thought it was for. I suppose all you do is turn this here little handle and...
Oh. McGee, look what you done, Ignorant. Squirted it right into the cook's face. McGee, listen to that. He's sharpening his knife.
Oh, sure.
He is now maybe wondering if or to use cleaver on you or make a simple slicing of you with carver knife.
My shucks, bud, excuse me. My hand slipped.
McGee, keep away from him.
Sure. He is liable to make a hamburger sandwich out of you.
Oh, accident is accident. I'm real sorry, Mr. Chef. Oh, sure.
You see? He is madly in hate with you.
Now listen, try and behave yourself, McGee. He'll get over it. What's in this big kettle, Mr. DePopulous?
Why, shucks, Molly, don't you know what that is? That's salad dressing.
No, Fizzy. You are mistaking soup for what are dressing salads. This is vegetable soup.
Oh, vegetable soup.
In restaurants business, there is always vegetable soup. Even if earthquakings or buildings burning down, as long as we have water, there'll be vegetable soup.
How about this block here, Nicky? I suppose the help uses that to play cards on when business is dull, huh?
No, Fizzler. This block is for chopping cabbages for coleslaw.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Hand me that head of cabbage there, Molly.
Be kind to it, McGee. There's more brains in that head than in yours.
Oh, is that so? Look here. Watch how I used to instruct the chef in cabbage chopping when I was meter to hotel at the Walburg Peoria in New York.
Be very anxious with the chopper, Peter. It is twice as easy for to cut off thumbs as to be careless, I'm wondering.
Shucks, Nick, don't you worry about me. Watch this.
McGee, not so hot. Huh? The cabbage is flying all over.
Oh, well, shucks, what's the difference?
Oh.
What was that?
Look at the chef and ask again.
Sure, Fizzer, you were for cabbaging him in the eye. Look, he's rolling up his sleeve.
Oh, sure.
Oh, look at his muscles, McGee. You'd better believe it.
Who, me? Say, brother, I'm real sorry I hit you with that piece of cabbage.
Cabbages or sweet potatoes is for making no difference with the cooking.
Well, shucks, he shouldn't get sore about a little thing like that.
Oh, no, Fizzer? And don't you be angrily with him when he is cutting off your ears, too, I hope so.
You hope so?
Hey, listen. Don't talk so loud.
Say, can he understand English?
A little bit English. But he is not so fluent in languaging like educational peoples like we, if you think you know what you mean.
You're sure he don't understand English, Nick?
Yes, he's not very good for understanding.
Well, I'll take that feller apart like a second-hand alarm clock. And he needn't give me none of them dirty looks, neither. Yes, you big palooka.
What are you taking your fist over that way for? He's over here.
Well, he heard me. Shucks, if he bothers me, I'll make him look like the witch's witch.
What is this witching?
Didn't I ever tell you about the time I wrestled 4 fellas at once?
Oh, now, McGee.
Yes, sir, I was known as Hammerlock McGee in them days. Hammerlock McGee, the horny-handed half-Nelson whip-cracking heavyweight of the Hudson Huskies. You got time to hear this, Nick?
No, I'm not.
Well, sure, I says I got tired of tossing these fellers around one by one, so I challenged the 4 top heavyweight wrestlers to meet me all at one time and in the same ring.
Do you think you could win a bout like this?
Why, shucks, it was pie, Poppy. When the bell rung, they all come for me, weaving and shuffling, and they rushed. But graceful as a swan, I sidestepped, and they all come together like a bust of thunder.
And you run home like lightning?
No, sir. I waited till they was all mixed up, and then I stepped in, and quick's a flash, I give 'em the works, braiding arms and legs like I was making a wicker basket. Why, shucks. When I finished, they didn't know who was who.
You are wrestling with 4 wrestling peoples with making baskets, and if you don't finish, you don't know who is for how many peoples there should used to be?
Yep, I got the diamond-studded belt for that. But the funny part is, Nick, them fellers never could get untied again. No, sir. I had 'em so tied up in knots they couldn't get apart. They're making big money now in sideshows as the marvelous Switch brothers. You see, the trick was to pick 'em up like this.
Put the stool down, McGee. Put
like
it down.
This, Nick. Then get your shoulder on it like this and heave.
Oh, my, now you've done it.
What's the matter?
Fizzler, that stool is for landing on the chef's bunion.
Look out, McGee, he's coming for you.
Coming for to make mincemeats of you, Fizzler. Cookie! No, Cookie!
Now, listen, Mr. Chef. Shucks, I just... Hey.
Now, Cookie, don't be for losing temperament. Calm down.
Well, say, if you don't stop bringing some fancy chicken like this, I'll go see. Well, somehow we don't think Fibber's going to care for the restaurant business. But here is some food for thought. If you have hardwood floors in your home, you'll be delighted with the enriching effect of a coat of genuine Johnson's wax. The best housekeepers have found that genuine Johnson's wax makes their housework much easier and keeps their homes looking bright and cheerful. But don't think of Johnson's wax as merely a floor polish. It's a real protector and preservative for all woods and linoleum, as well as enamel and painted surfaces. Wax your furniture, your windowsills, and door frames, enamel icebox, and cupboard shelves. Johnson's Wax will give your rooms new beauty, save the cost of refinishing floors and woodwork, and actually cut your cleaning time by 1/2, because dirt and dust just cannot cling to a Johnson Wax surface. And by the way, you can save up to 1/3 by buying Johnson's Wax, paste or liquid, in the larger sizes. That was Marcelli and his band playing Hot Cha-Cha. And we'll meet you again next week at this same hour when Fibber and Molly invite you back to Wistful Vista for more hilarity, more harmony, and more, but need I say more? Until then, may I remind you that just as the best housekeepers use Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Glow Coat to keep their houses clean and shining, so the most particular car owners keep their cars sparkling with Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. This is your old waxer of Florimoni's, Harlow Wilcox, signing off with a riddle. What's the difference between Fibber McGee and me? One wise cracks and the other cries wax. Good night. The selection Say It with music is from the Music Box Review. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
88 years ago, January 27th, 1936, Fibber McGee and Molly here on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Sunday, Bob Hope, Father Knows Best, Jimmy Durante, another episode of Fibber McGee and Molly from much more recent times. Phil Harrison, Alice Faye, and Claudia will be up tomorrow. But right now, let's get to Pine Ridge, Arkansas, and see what the latest is with the trial of Lum Edwards, Lum and Abner.
If you are planning a new building, the architect can make inexpensive changes in his design to shield against the dangers of radioactive fallout. This technique is called design slanting, which simply means designing for added fallout protection without adversely affecting the use, appearance, or cost of a building. To learn more about slanting, contact your local civil defense director.
And you can get lots of that information at the website civildefensemuseum.com, civildefensemuseum.com, and you find a link in the description box below. Alrighty, on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we'll wrap up this episode with an episode of Lum and Abner, the trial of Lum Edwards. Lum Edwards presiding from 82 years ago, January 27th, 1942.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. All you folks know that when you hear that familiar theme, it's time for another visit with our old Pine Ridge friends, Lum and Abner. And when you hear me come on the air, you expect me, of course, to say a few words about Alka-Seltzer. Well, this time, instead of just telling you about Alka-Seltzer, I'm going to tell you, and I'm also going to show you. I'm going to demonstrate right before your very ears how easy it can be for you to get quick relief for acid indigestion, sour, upset stomach, and other minor stomach upsets the modern Alka-Seltzer way. First, I pour out a glass of water like this. There. Then I take 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets out of the package and drop them into the water like this. Listen to it fizz. And there you have it, friends, a glass of friendly, dependable Alka-Seltzer ready to bring you real relief for minor stomach upsets. I just wish I could show you how pleasant tasting Alka-Seltzer is, too, and how fast it acts, but I'm afraid you'll have to discover these things for yourself by trying it. And that's exactly what we suggest you do. Alkalize with Alka-Seltzer the very next time acid indigestion, sour, upset stomach, or heartburn causes you discomfort. You'll feel better fast. Get Alka-Seltzer by the package or the glass at any drugstore. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, today's the day of the big trial in which Lum Edwards, Justice of the Peace, is trying Lum Edwards, defendant, on the charge of attempting to break into the Jot 'em Down store. That same store has been converted into a courtroom, and the townsfolk are gathering now to witness this unusual trial. As we look in on the little community, we find Lum and Abner back in the feed room, waiting for everyone to arrive so that the trial can begin. Listen.
Are they all in there yet?
Yeah, the jury's all here, just waiting on Squire Skimp.
For goodness sakes, I wish he'd hurry up and get here. I want to get this thing over.
Well, I don't see why you had to get him mixed up in this no way, Lum.
Well, I had to get somebody to prosecute me. I couldn't be the Justice of the Peace and defend myself and prosecute myself, too.
No.
I don't want nobody to ever say I've taken the advantage of my office of Justice of the Peace to let myself go free.
Oh, of course not, no.
That's the reason I got a jury, make everything look legal.
Yeah. Well, I still wouldn't have got Squire Skimp mixed up in it, though.
Well, he's the only one in town that knows anything about law matters. Don't worry, I'll clear me all right. I told Cedric to look for that paper I signed giving you my half of the store and told him when he found it to tear it up.
Yeah, that's the thing to do.
That's the only evidence they got against me.
Yeah, if they don't find her. Wait a minute, there comes Squire now.
Well, good. Let's get in there and get the thing over with and go ahead. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Proud to see so many of my personal friends on the jury. Sit down, gentlemen, sit down. Grandpap, I'll ask you to act as court clerk. Here's a list of the witnesses. You can call them up as we need them.
Yeah, sure, Lum.
Squire, are you ready for the case to start?
Anytime, Your Honor, anytime.
All right. The Court of Lum Edwards, Justice of the Peace, Cloverleaf Township, County of Polk, State of Arkansas, United States of America, is now in session. The first case on the docket this morning is that of Lum Edwards versus the State of Arkansas. Fact is, that's the only case we've got. Mr. Edwards is wrongfully charged with attempted robbery.
I object to that.
Huh?
I object to such personal comments from the bench. That's what we're having the trial for, is to see if you're wrongfully charged.
Objection overruled. By the way, gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Skimp here is handling the prosecution, and Mr. Edwards is being defended by L. Edwards. Call the first witness, Mr. Spears. Mousy Gray. He's the first one. Mousy Gray, please come forward.
Yes, sir, I'm coming.
Just sit in the witness chair there, Mousy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello, Mousy, old boy.
Howdy, Lum.
Mousy, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I guess I do.
All right, Squire, you're a witness.
Mr. Gray, are you acquainted with the defendant here, Mr. Edwards?
Well, yes, sir, he was my manager when I was a box fighter.
Mm-hmm. And while he was serving in that capacity, did he do anything to induce you to quit your job at the mill and spend all your time training for your boxing career?
Why, yes, sir. He said that he'd quit his job, too, that he'd give his half of the store to Abner if I'd quit my job over at the mill.
And did he sign a paper to that effect?
I object.
On what grounds do you object, Lum, or Your Honor?
I just object, that's all. Justice of the peace ought to have some rights around here.
Well, all right, all right. I think the fact that the justice, who is also the defendant, objecting to that question is sufficient for an answer. That's all, Mousy.
Wait a minute, Mousy. It's the defense's turn now.
Yes, sir.
Mousy, this paper that Squire just mentioned, do you see it anywhere in this room?
No, sir, I don't believe I do.
Well, don't start looking for it. This ain't no game we're playing.
Oh.
Do you know where such a paper as that's at?
No, sir.
All right, that's all, Mousy. Next witness, Grandpap. Oh, yeah, let's see here. Milford Spears. Milford Spears. Is Milford Spears here? I reckon not. Next witness, Abner Peabody.
Yeah, I'm here. You want me to sit in
Oh,
the
wait
chair
a minute. What's the matter with me anyway? I'm Milford Spears. Get out of the chair, Abner.
Oh, no, sir, you're too late, Grandpap. I'm done here now.
God blame it, I wanted to do some witnessing, too.
Well, I want to witness myself here.
I don't think we'll need you, Grandpap. All right, Abner, do you swear to tell...
I do. Come on, Squire, ask me the question.
Yeah, you're a witness, Squire.
Mr. Peabody, the defendant here is accused of breaking into your store on the night of... It's half his store, so he weren't breaking in.
That's the time, Abner. That's the time.
Just
Stay in there,
answer
old
my
boy.
questions, Mr. Peabody. Answer my questions. Now, you say that it is half his store, but isn't it true that the defendant signed a legal document giving you his share of the business? Well, I don't know. Come now, isn't that the truth? Didn't Mr. Edwards sign such a paper? Well, I believe he did put his name on some kind of a thing, but I don't recollect what it said, though.
That's the time, Abner.
But you admit that he did sign it. And because he was no longer a partner in the store, isn't it the truth that he was forced to seek other means of making a living? Such as, selling lead pencils, magazine subscriptions.
I object. That's an unrelevant question, because nobody can make a living selling them things. I found that out.
Well, all right. I think the prosecution is satisfied. That's all, Mr. Peabody. Your witness, Justice.
Thank you. Mr. Peabody, can you produce that so-called paper Squire Skimp keeps referring to?
No, sir, I can't.
Well, why not?
I don't know where such a paper's at.
That's all, Abner. Go back to your seat. Who's next, Grandpap? Let's see. The defendant's next, Lum Edwards. Well, don't shout. I'm right here. Mr. Edwards, do you swear to tell...
Just a minute, Your Honor. In spite of the fact that you're the Justice of the Peace, I believe you're required to go over to the witness chair at this time.
Well, in view of different circumstances, such as trying to sit on the bench and in the witness stand at the same time, I'm making a special ruling in my case. Ruling sustained. Proceed, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Edwards, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Do you want to ask the defendant any questions, Squire?
Only one. And if the defendant tells the truth, the prosecution will rest. Mr. Edwards, did you sign a document giving your share of the Jot-'em-Down store to Mr. Peabody?
I object. That's a leading question. I stand on my Constitution right.
That's our time, Lum. Well, this is quite irregular, I must say. But I feel that the defendant's evasion of this question, gentlemen, is as good as an affirmative answer. That's all.
Well, good. Now, I'll ask the defendant a few questions. Mr. Edwards, have you known the defendant to be an honest, upright citizen, never committing no crimes? Yes, sir. Do you know the whereabouts of any document he signed giving away his half of the store? No, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all. Gentlemen of the jury, you've heard the evidence in this case, and there ain't none. Nobody's been able to produce no such a document as the prosecution's been talking about. and nobody knows where such a document's at, neither. Therefore, the defendant, who is a fine, honest, noble feller and citizen in good standing, still owns part of the Jot-'em-Down store, and therefore this trustworthy gentleman could not be guilty of breaking into somebody else's store. Gentlemen of the jury, as I see this case from an impartial viewpoint, there's only one verdict that you can bring in. Not guilty. The defense rests. All right, Squire, go ahead.
Well, in view of the lack of evidence...
Mr. Lum.
Please, Cedric, don't interrupt court's in session.
Well, I just wanted to ask Mr. Lum if this is the paper he wanted me to destroy.
Cedric, you get out of here.
Oh, my goodness.
Just a minute. Let me see that paper, Cedric.
Don't you do it, Cedric. Don't you do it.
Hand it here, Cedric. That may be evidence in this case. Yeah, just as I thought. Gentlemen of the jury, I offer herewith, as Exhibit A, the document signed by Mr. Edwards giving away his half of the store. The prosecution read.
Oh, my goodness. Court is now in recess.
Recess?
Yeah, come here a minute, Abner.
Huh?
This is terrible.
What's the matter, Lum?
Oh, that dead lame Cedric losing the case for me that way.
Well, you ain't worried, are you? Can't you just let yourself go free?
Well, it ain't up to me to say whether I'm guilty or not. It's up to the jury.
Oh.
And they'll have to say I'm guilty now.
Well, let them say you're guilty. Then you can just sentence yourself to just about 1 day in jail.
I can't do that, though.
Huh?
According to the law, I gotta sentence myself to 1 to 5 years in the penitentiary.
Oh, my goodness.
Granny, I believe I'd rather take my chances with some other judge. I know too much.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do, Lum?
I'll show you.
Huh?
Courts reconvene in session again. Due to the peculiar circumstances of this case, the Justice of the Peace is asking for a change of Venice. This case will be tried before Judge Parker in at the county seat. Case dismissed.
Well, Lum certainly is having his troubles, isn't he? And say, Mother, do you have your troubles getting your children to take their vitamins A and D? And haven't you sometimes wished that you and Dad might find a pleasant, convenient way to get the protective benefits of vitamins A and D, which are found in cod liver oil? Well, now your troubles are over, for your druggist and all druggists can supply you with one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets. Now, one-a-day vitamin A and D tablets are mighty pleasant to the taste. There's no fishy, oily taste, no aftertaste, and they're truly convenient to take. In fact, 1 tablet a day is all you need, because each one-a-day vitamin A and D tablet is so high in vitamin A and D content that it supplies more than your minimum daily requirements of these 2 important vitamins. So why take chances? Why fuss with your children to get them to take their cod liver oil when now you can get all its protective vitamin A and D benefits in such a convenient-to-take, pleasant-to-taste tablet form? Ask your druggist for one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets right away. They're so reasonably priced you just can't afford to be without their protective benefits. And say, when you're in your druggist store, don't forget to take home a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets, too.
And it's not over yet. From 82 years ago today, January 27th, 1942, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And it won't be till Monday that we'll hear another episode of Lum and Abner. But tomorrow you'll hear Bob Hope, Jimmy Durante, Father Knows Best starring Robert Young, Fibber McGee and Molly, Phil Harris and Alice Faye, and Claudia. And visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. Thanks to Sean for buying me some copies. I greatly appreciate it. Have yourself a great day, and tell your friends about the Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox podcast, and we'll see you back on Sunday.